Welcome back to another episode of Stay on Target. I'm your host, Dustin. Thanks for being here tonight with us. We're so glad you're here. We're going to be talking all things Andor because Andor Season 2, it's here, baby. And is it better than ever? That's the question for tonight. We're going to be discussing that. So much controversy, so much to talk about, so many questions, so many episodes. And we're going to get right into it, so we're going to jump right into the rundown. Not much here when it comes to the rundown because so much Andor is here. So we're going to start off with Question of the Week. Then we're going to follow it up with Andor, you guessed it, Andor Season 2, non-spoilers, and then we're going to jump into spoiler reviews. We might touch on some news after that if we have time. Otherwise, it's mainly going to be Andor tonight because there is so much to discuss, so much to break down, so many emotions, so many feels to go into. So we're excited to do that here with all of you. But with me, I have Dan.
How's it going? Back again.
Andor Dan.
It's a double header.
If we had to, I almost feel like we should equate ourselves to like people in Andor.
In Andor, yeah, like you're Brasso.
Am I Brasso?
I'm just kidding. Don't say. I'm not spoiling anything, but maybe you are.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe it's.
I'm okay with that to a certain extent.
Or maybe you're Andor.
Or B2 emo.
Or you're B2 emo. I don't know.
Who knows? We'll have to figure out. Maybe we'll put a vote to the chat.
Who's who?
Right? Well, that's Dan. And next up, we have the Fact Checker. What's up, Fact Checker?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Excited to talk more Andor after we've all processed it for...
Yeah.
What are we? 18 hours?
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah, it's not that long after, really. But I know it's given me some time to think about a few things, and I'm excited to discuss it with everybody here. So, speaking of everybody who's here, Fact Checker, who is with us tonight? Name a few of the wonderful gonkers that are out there.
Well, Skylark just joined us and said, hello, everyone.
What's up, Skylark?
And then Bismo reminded us, you mean B2ismo?
That's
B2
kinda
is
how
I do like that.
Don't you like that?
I like
pretty
that.
cool.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he also said, nice work on the back-to-back streams, lots of work, big props.
Oh,
But
thanks, man.
it's been so much
Thanks.
fun,
It
right?
has.
So
Yeah.
It's been a blast. It's
It
been a
has.
whirlwind, but a good time. Loves being with everybody. It was so fun hanging out with everybody.
It was
last night.
something
was.
we've never done. It was kind of fun, yeah.
absolutely. And then Tmerkins jumped in saying, Sagrona Dima.
Sagrona
Here we are. Sagrona Dima.
You got to say Italian, Dan.
I don't know. It turns Italian for
That
me.
was one of the funniest parts in that thing. I don't want to give anything away. No spoilers, but we had so
Yes.
much fun with that.
It was pretty fun, actually, being
Oh, man.
the Timas.
Yeah.
Yes,
the
for
team is-
sure. And Carla says, hello, good evening, everyone.
Hello,
Good to
Carla.
see you.
Thank you for joining in.
Hello.
And then, yeah, we might have some lurkers, which we love.
We
and
love the
I love
lurkers.
Hope you're
doing
ladies.
well.
We absolutely love the lurkers.
Yeah, and if you're new and you're not used to chatting, just feel free to jump in. And if you don't want to chat, we call you a lurker because you just lurk in the background.
And all the love to the lurkers, though.
Which is-
We still love them.
Oh yeah, I'm a lurker when I'm not. When I'm on other people's streams most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as I chat something like, it's like sounds like the dumbest thing when I read about it.
I know, right?
I've worked really hard to think about that, but when I chatted it, I feel like a complete idiot now.
I
That's
know.
how I feel, too. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, then I'm so impressed with our gonkers, our chatters, because they're all so smart.
They
and
are so
have
smart.
such awesome, interesting takes and great points. It's so cool.
And some clever remarks. That's
Absolutely.
the thing. It make us laugh. And that was what was I think was so fun yesterday too. And with these live watch alongs that we've been doing, it have been so much fun listening to you guys and your takes on it.
Yeah. Well, and the things they catch that we might miss. I mean, we definitely
exactly.
have each other's back and they keep us on target.
We're Star Wars. We're all Star Wars fans watching Star
Yeah.
Wars together, and that's always going to be a good time.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things to do in the world.
Always.
Speaking of which, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. But before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your frenemies about us so we can continue to grow this wonderful community together of Star Wars fans. Because with all of us together, we can make Star Wars...
Oh, me?
Sure.
Butter.
Oh, man. Oh, me? Yep. With all of us together, we can make Star Wars. Oh, me?
Well, no, I didn't know it was on my camera.
Yeah, I know. I surprised you.
Remember? I see a delay on my screen.
Oh,
That's true.
that's
That's true.
true.
You do.
We didn't plan that one out. That's okay.
Yeah, Dan, you got to give me a cue.
I'll give you the
or
heads
something.
up next time.
just gotta
We'll
be
light
on
up your
toes.
camera.
You got to be on your toes here on Stay on Target. We might
guess.
throw a bunch of stuff to you. Bismo knows that too.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bismo, though, I do want to say he came out with a video today that was pretty epic. Talking Cyril and Dedra. I don't want to give it away. You got to watch the video, but he did give us a nice little shout out. So I just want to give him a shout out here. Thank you so much, Bismo, for that. You didn't have to do that, but we appreciate it. And we appreciate you being here and watching along with us and all the fun. And looking forward to chatting more in the future.
Yes.
We're excited about that.
And do you mean Dedra?
I do mean Dedra, but I didn't want to say that because I was going to let people watch the video.
Oh.
But that's okay. That's okay. It is a thing. We actually know, to be fair. We've said
Yeah.
that since season 1. So maybe I was getting ahead of myself, behind myself. I don't know. But thanks, Biz.
It's great video.
Yeah, that was awesome. So definitely go over to his channel, like, comment, subscribe. Tell him we sent you and tell him that you love him and that we love him and everybody loves him. That's getting a little weird. But we got more to get into. But we also have War of the Cosmic Tyrants. We've been doing Star Wars D&D, and if you haven't watched it yet, you are missing out on a good time. It's an original story in Star Wars. It's a different time, but the same place, somewhat. And we've been having a blast there. You will laugh. I guarantee you will laugh. Not exactly for the kids, but it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad for anybody. But it's a good time, so I hope you guys will check it out. And we're going to be doing that again. That's coming up again on May 2nd at 8 p.m. Is the next one that we have. So not this Friday, but next Friday. And you might be seeing some more of... not necessarily War of the Cosmic Tyrants, but May the 4th is coming up soon, and I'm just giving you a little tease that we might be doing something. something. So get pumped. Mark your calendars for that, because I think it's going to be a good time. And anyway.
Yeah, well, for the War of the Cosmic Tyrants,
Yes, fact
did
checker.
you want to mention a new character?
Oh, well, yes, okay. I guess we'll say it here.
Might as well. It's out there, right?
We did introduce a new character this last week, played by Ben Bravo. He's an awesome dude, and he is playing Battery. Battery now is canon in War. It's the
got the
droid in War of the Cosmic Tyrants. He is a character officially on the channel, on the stream, in the game. So it's a blast. We've been having so much fun, and that was hilarious bringing him in, and the fun that we're gonna have all together in this crazy cosmic adventure. So definitely tune in if you haven't yet. It's worth
It's
a
a
watch.
lot of fun. You guys will love it if you haven't seen it yet. It's a lot of fun. It's hilarious.
We laugh so much. That's the fun thing about it, and it's an original story. So
Yep.
you know,
Take that.
if you can't join them, beat them.
If you can't beat him, join him. Wait, if you can't join him, join him and then beat him.
That went the wrong way. Strike it. Reverse it. All right, cool. Well, you guys ready? You guys ready to jump into this?
Yeah.
I think we need to jump right the gonk into this. All right, so we're going to jump into Andor Season 2, Episodes 1 through 3, non-spoilers. You said, fact checker.
Or not
Were
doing
you
question?
Oh, yeah. I didn't do question of the week.
Okay,
Wow.
I was going to say.
I'm sorry.
Did I fall asleep?
No,
and we missed
apparently
it?
I did. No, okay, no, question of the week. Wow, but it still ties to Andor. So the question of the week is, speaking of which, what was your favorite Andor Season 2, 1 through 3? Which episode was your favorite? That's what we want to know. No spoilers, though. We're not spoiling it yet. So which episode from the first 3 episodes was your favorite? We want to hear from you. Write meow. Let us know in the comments. For me, I'll lead it off. I don't always do this, but I'm going to say episode 1 was actually my favorite. There was so much about it that, from the cinematography to the music to the roller coaster of emotions to the action. I mean, there's a lot going on in episode 1.
Yeah.
I really had a good time in that one specifically. Not that the other ones were less than, but I just appreciated what they did in episode 1. It was super fun. What about you, Dan?
Ooh, I have a hard time differentiating between the 3 still. To me, they're all one long episode, but I think the first one was really, really exciting because the energy was palpitaneable.
Palpitaneable.
And I did like the third one. The third one had some other moments that we'll talk about later or whatever.
Yeah.
That's hard. It's hard for it to be my favorite. So, but I like the culmination of the three. So I want to say the third one was my favorite because of the way that they've closed the arc.
Yeah.
And I'll start with you. I'll agree with somebody for once and say I like the first one the most.
Wow. That's crazy. I don't know how
It's
I feel
strange.
about this.
It's very weird. I don't know
Since
what to do.
childhood, I don't think you've done that.
I know it's
a monumental
I must
occasion.
not be feeling well.
Yeah. Well, we have been doing a bit.
That's true.
Ironically, Dan, you're not just agreeing with one person.
I'm agreeing with the whole world.
Many.
No, I didn't mean that.
Oh, no. You did that. Why'd you have to remind us that?
I
fact
don't know.
checker?
Oh, God.
It's all your fault.
I guess who else agreed with us? Me.
Well,
Me first, us.
Me and myself.
I am you. We're clones.
Yeah.
The clone army. We
The
are
clone
starting.
army, yeah. Oh, no.
yeah, so far in the chat, Bismo and Tmerkins also said their first
Oh, really?
episode were their favorites.
Heck yeah.
And then we've got a poll running asking the same question.
Here they are.
And actually, in the poll, it's interesting. We've got 57% right now saying episode 1 and 43% saying all 3. It's too hard to pick.
Oh, it is very difficult to pick, honestly.
That's my first answer is all 3.
yeah.
Okay.
But
his
yeah,
second
I didn't realize
answer
that
is
was an
agreeing.
option.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose a lesser option,
So
I
he's
would
taking
agree
it
with
back?
somebody.
So
Yeah,
he's
so-
not agreeing with me.
I didn't realize.
The lesser option that I chose. I see how it is.
Well, I wanted to say all 3, but if I have to pick one,
That's true. You are Switzerland.
I like how they kind of reintroduced people and the action. But yeah. I'm trying to think. Am I not
I
spoiling
like how
anything?
you said that.
Yeah.
Action.
Oh, man.
What about you, fact checker? Are you agreeing with everybody, or are you gonna go against the crowd?
No, I'm definitely agreeing with everyone. Episode 1.
Well,
I
you're
think-
wrong. Just
Oh, God.
wait.
Yeah, right. I have the power of many.
How many? Oh my god.
Totally kidding. But no, it was a great start to this season. It lived up to the hype, and I need to rewatch it.
Oh yeah, I know. That's
All of them.
I wish I had time to rewatch
I
it
know.
before this, because I'm sure we would have got so much out of rewatching it. But anyway, we watched it with everybody, and that was the best part. So
Yeah.
all right, well, yeah, it looks like. What's the poll though? We'll finish it up here with the poll if everybody's got
that's true.
their answers in, and then we'll move on. Unless you just let's just move on. You can still keep answering that, people. If you're jumping in, jumping out, lurkers, if you want to add in. Let's jump into the non-spoilers now so that we can start talking about this thing. Non-spoilers is so difficult. And I don't think we're going to do episode by episode. We're just kind of going to do it as one full arc. Otherwise, we'll be here for days. But let's jump into the non-spoilers segment of the show, Andor Season 2, Episodes 1 through 3. I don't even know. Did they actually have names for each of the episodes?
I can check.
I didn't even look at that.
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know.
I'll have to look at that. But yeah, so there, and you know what's crazy? I've been listening to a lot of reviews online today too, just kind of gauging the feel and the opinions of everybody.
Yeah.
And I've seen such a mix. It's cool in one way because we don't all have to agree on Star Wars.
No.
Yeah, everybody
That's
has
the
their
fun
own
thing.
interpretation, I think is what it comes down to. of
Yes.
what Star Wars means and is to them.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to. But that's interesting that you're seeing a lot of different opinions.
Yeah, and it was kind of nice to see. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people didn't. Some people. I not say a lot, but some people didn't like it. Some people loved it, and it was just fun to hear the different reasons why people didn't like it or did like it. And in a way, I can understand both sides. But I think for us here, if we're going into the non-spoiler segment, we really enjoyed it. There's a few moments that we didn't absolutely love. For
Right.
me specifically, I won't talk for everybody else. But there were so many moments that were a lot of fun. And I think we'll break it down maybe into a few categories for us. But we've had time to think about it. And the more I thought about it, the more I actually enjoyed elements of it. And I think that's the beauty in some ways of season 1 too. And I think if you didn't rewatch season 1 going into season 2, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Because since we rewatched season 1 going into season 2, I felt like it played even better for us because things were linked and it was fresh in our mind. So we could we could get right back into it, into the world.
Yeah, but for some people, I know they just said the season 1 wasn't rewatchable because maybe of the pacing, or mostly the pacing, I think.
Right.
So I think it was really hard for people to want to watch it again. But I loved it. I liked rewatching it. I didn't have an issue.
I enjoyed it just as much, if not more, rewatching it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great time. But Dan, not initial reactions, but your reactions now after processing it for
in a non-spoiler fashion.
Yeah,
I mean,
what do you think?
It
man?
definitely had everything that I wanted it to have, I think, and then some things that I didn't expect. Certain scenes of dialogue and musical tastes that I didn't expect, because of course I always notice the music. I expect great music. I expect great sound design. I wouldn't say that, though, Andor Season 1, the music really, it didn't, like, completely pique my interest, like, throughout the episodes. Obviously, there were moments, it's very cinematic, and then they had that one song from the Miami, when he got arrested in Season 1.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a spoiler, but kind of is, but we hear that again, that same style, that same song, I think, in this arc, and that was something I didn't expect, but I didn't mind it. It was kind of an interesting, I don't know, it's just some twists and turns with the sound design, with the music, but it looked beautiful. I mean, it just looked incredible. Did you already say that?
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah, it just looked crazy. I mean, just couldn't believe. You can tell the budget went into this thing.
Yeah, and that is a point of contention for a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah, I will say that is an argument that I've heard. A lot of people are complaining that it had that big of a budget. And in some ways, I can understand, but I think a lot of why we actually know what the budget is because it was filmed in the UK.
Yeah.
And so they have to divulge the information, whereas if it's filmed in the United States, they don't have to. So I don't think we fully understand the amount of money that's gone into the other shows. We heard certain numbers, but we don't know those numbers specifically because they don't have to divulge the whole information.
Right. Like, I don't think we ever found out how much actually Rogue One cost, how much Solo cost. They gave approximate reshoot numbers, which were astronomical. You know what I'm saying? But all of them, their movies, they went over budget, And this is basically 4 movies. It's like 4 3-episode arcs. It's 4 like 2-hour movies. So I mean, and the quality is there. So if you think about it for dollar, was it Bismo that said this or somebody else I was listening to? Dollar for dollar, you're talking 4 movies under 600 mil or about that.
Yeah.
You're talking like 150 a pop, right? Is what. But that's like a low budget. That's done nowadays. That's like a medium to low budget, high quality movie.
With the amount of runtime and the amount of CGI.
All the Star Wars movies were 200 to 300 plus. All of the Star Wars movies, 200 to 300 plus. They made some money because it's easier to translate that and see what the return is. But you could see, but they didn't get the acclaim. They didn't get, what I'm saying? So for dollar, for the actors you get, for what you're getting out of the fans and things like that, I think that the money part of it, I just kind of throw it away. I'm like, whatever. And think about what you're getting for that, because you're getting cheaper movie price, but the same quality and maybe better for the writing and all of that stuff, and no drama. Like, it was done. They got it done. They started during the lockdown for season 1. They made it work. Now they had finally full access to travel and do what they wanted for season 2, and it shows, you know. And then people liked season 1 out of nowhere. We didn't expect it to be that good,
right?
So the money part to me, I think, is worth it, and it shows in the look and the clothing and the sets and the special effects. I mean, give Tony Gilroy more money because he just needs to write some more.
At least he knows how to use it. We've seen some other shows that have some. I wouldn't say as big of a budget as far as we know. That's my point.
As far as we know,
I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying, even to Bismo's point here, he says the budget has just made my watching experience better, though. I don't know about the return on investment. I agree. The return on investment, I don't know about that, but I do agree with you there. I do think that he used that money. It was money well spent. Because everything did look crisp. It's movie quality. Everything about it is movie quality, in my opinion, to the point where, like, Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything.
Well,
but
there was an interview with Tony Gilroy talking about at Star Wars Celebration, talking about how they've edited or prepped the Andor season 2 for movie release if it gets there. So
Right.
they don't know, or maybe now they know, but when they were doing it, they didn't know if it was going to ever be in theaters, but there's a possibility that would happen.
Yeah.
And then the theaters would play Rogue One right afterwards. So I
That
think
would be cool.
he was very much forward thinking.
Yeah.
And that's why the budget needed to be so big.
Yeah, and so that justifies it even more because then there's possibly an even bigger return, straight return on investment.
Yeah.
Because make good show, we're gonna go want to watch it in the theater if they release
Yeah.
it. If it releases nearby, even if it doesn't release nearby here, it'll release in a big enough cities where they can make money on it.
Yeah.
and they already tried that out with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And episode. Shoot, I don't even remember what episode it was.
That wasn't it 5?
5,
Four or five,
Episode
yeah.
5, I think it was 5. Episode 5 of Ahsoka, they did it in theaters, and I think that did pretty well it was a limited theater run. But I could see this playing well in theaters. I remember even last night, I think it was Tamerkan said, man, I'd love to see this in theater because it just looked that good. And I completely agree. I thought it looked amazing. That would be a great theater experience. I hope they release the last 3 episodes in theaters and then you can watch Rogue One.
Dude, I would do that.
Be super fun because then you roll right into it and then you might as well keep going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right at episode 4.
it's true. I mean, and if you watch all like the Lord of the Rings movies with the extended version, it's like 9 hours, right? So
Yes.
we're approaching that with this. You got 3, actually got more hours, right? That was like almost 3 hours last night. It was like 2 hours and 40 minutes or
Yeah.
something.
Right.
So 2 hours and 40, 2 hours and 40. Okay, that's like 7-8 hours. So you're not quite Lord of the Rings with extended, but it's a lot of beautiful footage with quality throughout, I think. So
Yeah, for sure. Tamerkan's, it was you, definitely you. You were on target for sure. But yeah, and the crazy thing, I think you even said it, Dan, these prequels, we have more time watching these prequels than we do the actual prequel movies.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah,
That's crazy in a way.
That is crazy.
Wow.
But again, I think money well spent as far as from what we're getting out of it. Now, not everybody's experiencing the same thing. And
I think the majority is experiencing the same thing.
depends. I mean, I don't know. That's hard
Yeah,
to say.
but it's true. I think I want to see where the fans lie.
Yeah, for sure.
The fans are going to determine whether or not this thing is successful because they need to get views in the show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That'll help if the numbers are positive in the whatever ratings.
Right.
Again, this is too good in some ways to be released on Disney Plus. Maybe
I know.
it should be
it's
probably
almost,
somewhere else.
yeah, in theaters. That's why I think they're trying to shift back to theaters, and they really
Yeah.
do. They really need to get back to theaters. I think what they should do is get pretty much anything live action, do it in theaters, and then animated. I'd say keep animated on Disney Plus. I think that works out pretty well.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you want to do some one-offs,
Or you got like Skeleton Crew plays good, although it looks good too. But that plays good, more family, kid friendly
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly.
I enjoyed
Distinct
Skeleton
that.
Crew quite a bit.
Yeah,
I
I
saw a
know.
list the other day, and they had Skeleton Crew like towards the bottom. I was like,
No,
get
that was a
out
lot,
of
that
here
was a
of
lot
all
of
the
fun.
live action shows. And I was like, no, you're wrong.
It just didn't get any people watching it because everything else before it was not good.
I know that's the problem, and that's the problem with so much in Star Wars right now, and I think why so many people have a negative opinion towards this show specifically is because when Andor season 1 came out, it was right after Boba Fett, the flop of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. Everybody was so tired and done at that point, like the apathy level, the hurt level, like the just disappointment level was through the roof. And then Andor comes out and people are like, you know what? I'm done with Star Wars. So doesn't feel like Star Wars. There's nothing about this that's Star Wars to me. You've already ruined it. I just dislike everything now at this point, And they couldn't get past those first couple of episodes, which, to a lot of people's point, I can understand. I don't blame anybody for that. That's the thing. I do not blame anybody for that, feeling that way. But for those who stuck it out, and that's also the other thing with the show, Andor season 1, people came back to it. I think people, when they came back to it, they ended up enjoying it and realizing, oh wow, this is actually a intelligently written show. Might not be the same, it might not feel the same in a lot of ways, and we're gonna get into that, but we might get into that a little bit more in spoilers. So let's continue with the non-spoilers here, and let's just cover a few topics that we can kind of go through here. So I would say action. How do you guys feel about action in this? Non-spoilers. Was the action on point?
I feel like yes for me. Yeah.
Yeah, in so many ways. Like, it was brutal. It was funny.
In times,
There was a lot.
Yeah.
It was good.
And they learned from season 1. They started it off with action. And pretty intense action sequence that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed it so much because of the depth they went to with the props and so many different things. Again, I'm trying not to spoil anything, so I'm being careful with my words. But I'd say the action was on point. All right, next up, characters. What do you think about the characters? Do you guys like the way they have evolved? From season 1 to season 2.
Do you?
I do. I think it's a natural progression to me. Everything feels realistic. It's a lot different from, I'm not trying to be rude about this, but personally, going from, Star Wars Rebels into Ahsoka, they felt like totally different characters to me. Whereas that's not really apples to apples. It's not fair to kind of do that in some ways because it's not one season to the next. But in this, it felt like a natural progression. It was great to see all these characters back. We knew them. We like where they're at, and it's cool to see them develop even further. And I felt like their character depth is just growing in this. And I don't want to give anything. So it's hard to not give anything away. I'll say Mon Mothma is very interesting in this, along with others. So characters were fun, interesting, and there was a few here and there that I was like, I don't know about that. Mostly it's just because I just like them, but
yeah.
But anyway, what about you guys on characters or character development in this?
I thought the character development was really solid, and I want to get into it in spoilers too, but I felt like it didn't like all of a sudden, like you rewrite a character between seasons to make him cooler or more of this or less of that. I feel like the guy that's writing it, Tony the Tiger, he just gets it, and he just sees it through, and he knows it. The beautiful thing is that he sees the ending. It's the end of this, the season finale, series finale is Rogue One. So when you have that as your finish line, you can cleverly write into that. And I think that's what he's doing. And that's why they're saying that if you watch Rogue One after this, you're going to be blown away because the way that the writing weaves in and out of the characters are going to just play right in. You're going to see the characters in Rogue One like in a way that you've never seen them before.
Yeah.
And that has me excited too because I was like, really? I I already liked Rogue One, but now I'm going to like it more probably. So
yeah,
and the rest of the rebellion, Mon Mothma and all this stuff. So
yeah, no, for sure that makes sense. What
Absolutely.
about you, fact checker?
Yeah, they're so dynamic, each of the characters, and there's a bunch of them, which sometimes can drive me nuts. Having too many characters to try and follow their stories and remember all the details, but in this case, they're doing it so well that I got it. I know the arcs that they're going through, and from season 1 to now these 3 episodes. It's already been so enjoyable.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I agree with you there. The dynamics and the nuance to these characters and taking turns that we didn't expect for some characters was very interesting. It was very interesting to watch. And let's jump into another category, though, here. We already touched upon it, but music. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention it again. There were happy tones. There were happy tones in this.
Happy tones.
That's a bit of a spoiler, but not really. It's music. And I was pleasantly surprised by that. The way that they utilized that made you feel different emotions throughout this whole 3-episode arc.
And you're talking about all 3 seasons, right? Or all 3 seasons, all 3 episodes?
Yes, all 3 episodes. But I'd say even just the narrowing in on the first episode alone, you got so much dynamic there, and I loved how they did it and even how they filmed it. But I know, Dan, you're more the music master on this.
Not really. I just feel like I just noticed that heavily, but we all do. We all feel it. If it's good, you notice it. If it's meh, you don't notice it.
Yeah.
If it's bad, you notice it as well, but in a bad way. So it's really that 3 things. If you're like, this music, what is this? I kind of like it. Or you're like, this music, I don't really like it.
Yeah.
Or you're like, oh yeah, I remember there was music. you know.
Yep.
But then the way that you craft that in, again, that's just peak Star Wars when there's no music.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the beginning, there was no music.
That's a great
and
point.
you're like, oh, I'm scared right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's just the way that all of the suspenseful moments had no music.
In the middle of episode 2,
Yeah.
I don't like it. No,
I know.
I was covering my face.
There was all of that.
don't
Made you feel
like it.
something,
There's
though.
made you feel something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that. I like when they play the music that way as another character.
He was taking a playbook from, was it Ben Burtt, who designed the bomb that, oh shoot, now I'm losing it. That
the depth
Boba
charge,
Fett.
Seismic charge.
Seismic charge.
Yeah.
The absence of sound is almost more intimidating, and that's
Yes.
exactly what happened. And just the masterful crafting of the story with the music, the way that he'd start building certain moments with the drums in there to really kind of get you more like, okay, things are happening, and it's subtle. Like if you're not paying attention, you don't notice it, but it adds to the weight of the storytelling. Like the absence in the beginning ups the tension, and that is one thing I do really like about him. He knows how to build tension.
Oh yeah,
so much so, and it pays off though, and it's so good. So the music was fantastic. Even the fun that we had for one of the scenes, bringing back that music like you talked about from the first one, I definitely enjoyed that. So the
Without
music,
a doubt.
it made it feel cinematic. I'll just say that. I think
Yeah.
in one word for me, the music in this was cinematic. It took you to that theater experience. So.
When speaking of fun, KG jumped in and said, definitely more levity this season so far.
Yes. Heavier in some ways, and we're gonna get into that in a minute. But the levity, I don't think we've laughed harder in some ways.
Yeah, that's true.
In this,
Yeah.
some of the moments, I was blown away. I was like, "What are we watching?" At the same time, I'm like, "I love this. It's so just different and silly." But I loved it. There's so many good moments.
I know your reactions too. No spoilers. At the beginning though was hilarious because you could tell you guys weren't expecting that to be so funny, and you guys we're cracking up.
Oh, we were cracking up left and right, man.
There was a lot of funny parts, which
many
was
funny parts.
played very, very well.
Definitely, yeah. So, levity was another one. I did like that. Temurgens here says definitely an emotional roller coaster. I completely agree. We said that even before the stream happened. We were like,
We were already emotional.
we were like, we're gonna laugh, we're gonna cry, we're gonna throw up together and have fun.
We're nervous.
Aren't you jittery?
Jittery, yeah. We were nervous, but it was a great
I was
time.
jittery. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. So it was good stuff. Anything else? Well, we'll touch upon it more in spoilers, but
Okay.
the controversy of going too dark, I think, is definitely playing out there. But we'll go into that in spoilers. So before we jump into that, I think we can end the non-spoilers here. But before we end it, we have to rate it. So I think what was the game fact checker again? It was the
Roski Rules. Well, 5 hands.
The 5
Roski
hands.
Rules is the shortened edition.
So should we not
5 hands.
rate it by the 5 hands?
That makes sense. That does make
I know we
good
rated
sense.
it by 10 last night, but I think the 5 hands is kind of a fun way to rate it. So
And we're rating this chapter.
yes,
The 3 episodes.
The 3 episodes. If you want to break it down in the chat, you're more than welcome to. But for us here, we're just going to rate this arc 1 through 3 by 5 hands. I only have 2, but you know what I'm saying. Fact checker, you want to jump into it first here?
Oh boy.
Or do you want me to?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm doing a poll.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I've had a little bit more time to think about it. Again, we're in the non-spoilers here, but out of 5 hands, I'd give it a 4.2 hands. 4.2 hands out of 5. So that's my opinion of this. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. There was a bit on pacing for one of the scenes, one of the things they took us on. The more I thought of, the more I was like, you could have trimmed that. I really thought they didn't necessarily need that. Looking back on it, I didn't mind certain aspects of it because there was some levity to it, but it just felt a little unnecessary. But the group was technically mentioned in season 1, so it does it does actually link back to season 1 of Andor.
Okay.
And then the reveal of it was good. I just think you could have shortened that whole thing down to probably 1 episode, not 2 episodes.
I just want to let the record state that I called rock, paper, scissors jokingly before they did the game.
You did.
Because he's like, Riska, Ruska, Ruska. We're like, well, it's rock, paper, scissors. And it was rock, paper, scissors. I was like, are you kidding?
A bit of spoilers. But.
Kind of, but are you kidding me? Well, you just said Risco rules or whatever.
Yeah, I said, yeah, that's true.
I couldn't believe it. We called a lot of things, actually.
Yeah.
We're in the same headspace as Tony Gilroy.
Gilroy, yeah, we are. So yeah, that's my rating. What about you, Dan? What's your rating on
Loved
this?
it.
Out of 5 hands.
Out of 5 hands for the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, first 3 episodes.
I'm going, because if I do the math on the one, let's just call it,
He's doing the math.
9.5. Something. Yeah, so let's just say 4.75.
Wow.
Yeah. 4.75. Actually, I'm going to lower it in this out of the hands, so I have room to grow. We're going 4.5 out of 5.
Okay.
Hands to grow.
Did you see how the chat is doing it?
To grow.
No, 4 hands
and fingers.
1 thumb out of 5. I score my 3 episode rating.
That's hilarious. 4 hands and 1 thumb.
Yeah.
4 hands.
Actually, that makes sense. Yeah,
it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I guess 4 hands for me and 2 fingers or 2 thumbs.
There you go. 4.2.
Yeah.
I was 5 hands, right? Well, that would be 5 hands.
You're 4. You were 4 hands
4
and
out of
5
5
fingers.
4 and 5 fingers.
I think that's how we should do
Isn't
it.
5 fingers another hand?
Well, yeah. So you're 4 hands,
Never mind.
4.5 hands. How about that?
4.5.
Yeah. So the thumb, that's a half a hand. For me, that is right.
You got to do this though, right? That's like a knuckle.
Yeah, like a knuckle.
Stop throwing up gang signs on the show, Dan.
I didn't say it. You said it.
I did. Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh.
That's us. That's the stay on target gang sign.
Oh no! Don't coin that.
It's pinchers up.
Pinchers up, people. Pinchers
yeah, there you go, Dan. So that's how you do it.
That's
you do
my
your
gang sign.
pinchers.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
3
a half
fingers.
hand.
Oh, yeah, that's a half hand.
Oh, good
That's
grief.
awesome.
The things we come up with.
Oh,
or
for
things
sure.
you come up with.
Yeah. What about you, fact checker? What are you rating this out of 5 hands?
Okay, I think I'm gonna do 4 hands and 3 fingers.
Wow.
So I'm a little bit higher, I think, than you guys, right?
You're right about just above Dan's technically.
Yeah. Yep. Because I'm 3 full fingers.
Okay, not 2.5.
Nope.
Which Dan would be 2.5.
Yeah.
So okay, hey, that's wow.
I liked it. It was good. I mean, there's parts where I didn't like it, of course, but.
But did you not like it because it made you feel icky, which was the intention?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
So I mean, but we'll get into it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
Yeah, and then as you kind of touched on in the middle of episode 2, things dragged on. But other than that, the complaints are very minimal from me.
Okay. Wow. Good stuff.
Yeah, it was fun. I need to watch it again though.
Yeah, and I think just the fact that we watched it with everybody too,
That was
took it
cool.
up
That was pretty neat.
a notch. I gotta say. And speaking of watching it with everybody, we're gonna do our darndest to do a live watch along every week with you guys. I mean, it's only 4 weeks, so we're gonna try and do it again next week. So set your reminders.
Yeah.
Where's I going with that? Set your 5 fingers for. Oh my goodness. Sounds weird. Just stop. Just set your calendars for next week, Tuesday when it drops again. We're going to be doing another live watch along, baby, and we're going to have a blast. We had a lot of fun with it last night, so I'm looking forward to watching it again with everybody, or next week with everybody. So that's a small little announcement there, but we need to get into some spoilers territory. Tortoises.
Spoiler territory.
Yeah, dude, we're going to spoil the heck out of this. And if you haven't seen it, spoiler warning, people, we're going to be spoiling the heck out of it again. So blank the screen and let's get to it. We're going to spoil things in 5, 4, 3, Dan, get ready. 2, 1.
Everybody but one person dies.
That's the right way to say it, technically.
Yes,
Good
this is what we
job.
like to call the right way.
The right way. Ooh.
Yeah, and it was pretty intense. Not gonna lie, when that poor man did not make it.
We're jumping right into that, aren't we?
Well, I don't know. I just said
That's
everybody
totally
but one
fine.
person. But no, I don't want to necessarily jump there.
No.
There were so many good things to kick this thing off. I mean, right at the gate, the theft, the heist of the TIE fighter, which, weaves all in. That's his new ship, I guess,
Yeah.
And it wasn't the one he was planning on getting, and then he got it anyway, and he went to go forward, and he went backwards, just like, what movie was it?
Oh, yeah, that was totally a callback from Independence Day. I don't know if anybody else got that, but that was totally from Independence Day. They do the same exact thing.
Yep, that's right, in the alien ship.
In an
that's
alien
right.
ship,
Yes,
yeah, they
that's
weren't
right.
familiar
I didn't
with.
make that connection. Okay.
Those Independence Day people.
That was totally an Independence Day remark. And that ship was called the TIE Avenger, but we are calling it the bow tie. Maybe we should call it the bow tie Avenger.
The bow tie Avenger.
Because it looked fancy. It was a fancy tie, so it's a bow tie. And it fits with the wedding.
It does. It was a nice, that was like the nice vehicle you would take to the wedding, right? You
It
get it
would
all
be.
shined up.
Ooh, man. Can you
was-
imagine showing up in that?
It was pretty shiny, even though it kind of crashed.
So
and
shiny.
got beat up by getting shot at by those punk kids, but
Yeah, exactly. But Brasso, back to Brasso, though. Let's just touch on it now. That was rough, dude.
that was a rough way to end 3. That's why it's hard for me to pick 3 as my favorite, but
Well, because they hit you with 2 gut punches, really, in 3, right? Yeah, they get.
Oh, yeah.
You would get the controversy scene.
yeah.
Well, more than that, there's 3 because of the wedding.
Oh, you're right. There's even more.
Yeah.
Well, there's a bunch in the wedding.
There's a
Gosh.
bunch. What are you talking about? There's so many things happening.
Yeah.
There is a bunch.
Yeah, what are they? So you got Tay Colma that's about to get
Whacked.
deleted, and
Per Bismo.
yeah, per Bismo, he was calling it the. He's not wrong, and
No.
obviously, where it looks like it's leading that way, unless she's just keeping an eye on him. I will say maybe she's just keeping an eye on him to
No.
make sure. I think
No,
he's gone.
gone.
I agree, but so we got that. Mon Mothma is breaking down because
She's cracked.
She's cracking, dude, because of Tay Colma betraying her daughter being a total brat.
And officially saying, heck yeah, I'm getting married. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
You're
dude.
crazy.
Yeah.
What?
And just how wrong that is. She's a child bride. This is ridiculous.
I know, dude.
But customs, right? Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy, and it was just crazy the fact that she chose that too, the kid.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
almost in a way to stick it to her mom. That was the feeling you get.
Yeah.
And her mom's like trying to help her along the way, and if she only knew, that's like the pain of watching it some ways, is like, if she only knew what she's trying to do for you and the entire flipping galaxy,
Yeah.
kid.
Exactly.
Be grateful. But she turns out to be a total jerk, even though her mom was still consulting her when her boyfriend or betrothed, I guess you could say, wasn't even holding her hand.
Yeah.
It was so childish in some ways, but again, it fits. It was like an arranged, almost child
Yeah.
wedding, which was wrong in a lot of ways too. So that was wrong. She was breaking. Anyway, then you got Bix breaking. Obviously, she was already mentally like disturbed. The nightmare that she had, which was super creepy.
Yeah, it was.
Mhm.
But at least she's getting better in some ways, I guess you could say. She's not like a total wreck at this point because the year has passed, but she's still having nightmares. It made sense. And it's funny, you know, she has nightmares about that. I have nightmares about the power of many.
Yeah.
Oh, too soon. And then
Probably.
we got Andor, really. He at the very end of episode 3, man, was breaking down. And that was tough to watch, especially his best friend, Brasso. Eating it. And that's what I said before the stream. I was so nervous they were going to do it. It unfortunately made sense in my mind with Gilroy because I'm like, ooh, Brasso, he's not really a main character, and we don't see him in Rogue One, so he doesn't have plot armor, but we all like him, so it's going to mean more to us when he dies, and it's going to suck so much more. So that's why I said at the beginning of the live watch along last night, I was like, do you think Brasso's going to make it? And they showed that.
Right.
So
Well, that's what I'm saying.
also-
You guys picked that out a long time ago. You guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Nick says everyone's going to die. And
That's
he's
true.
probably
That's
not
true.
wrong.
Yeah, and this,
So right.
it might be the tragedy that leads to the tragedy of Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
You know, we're all just watching tragedies. At
Yeah,
this
why do we like
point.
it so much?
I don't know.
Just kidding.
There's enough levity in it. So Brasso was a gut punch. But let's go to some good things, man. There's some excellent things in here that I absolutely loved. I loved the fact that they introduced Yavin 4. That was cool. That's why that whole arc with the Lost Boys, which technically they were called Oh shoot.
Well, the Maya Bay.
Maya
Pay.
Maya Pay, which they were referenced from Saw Gerrera in
Mhm.
season 1. He said that they were lost, and he's not wrong if you see it, because they lost their leader and they literally fell apart like crazies.
Mhm.
So they are the Lost Boys, huh?
Yeah, they basically are the Lost Boys, and it was comical in some ways in the beginning, but the gags started to get a little old by the end, I will have to say. Although I did enjoy the Jurassic Park feel.
The Jurassic Park
You
feel, yeah.
would.
I did.
It kind of felt like a little bit of a detour to hold Andor up
Yeah.
to make things progress elsewhere. But, again, we'll probably see them again. It makes me want to look at Rogue One again. Are any of those guys like part of the crew or part of the group? Remember when Andor walks up in
There's a whole bunch
hangar
of them.
bay? There's a
Yeah.
bunch of like soldiers. I wonder if like in that group is supposed to be maybe some of these guys.
Yeah.
The ones that stuck with, although they were all kind of like punks to Andor. Like pretty much both sides were punk to Andor.
Right.
Nobody out of that group was nice to him.
Yeah, right? Nobody...
And they're on Yavin 4, so it makes me think that maybe they a couple of them maybe make it out.
That's
they
a good point.
refine themselves. They end up staying on the base.
Maybe
Hey, I know where these pyramids are. We could build a base over there. Maybe they already have they build a little thing there or something.
Yeah, they stay there and they actually establish. So those guys, Maya Pay guys, might end up, they're going to be playing Battle of Five Hands or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm guessing now because
The
of
whole
Andor.
time.
Well, and they crash landed there, right? I mean, or
Yeah.
whatever. We don't know exactly
Something
how they
happened like
crash
that.
landed or how
I'm
they.
not sure. They
And
said
then
they
how-
left with a ship, didn't they? But then everybody was like,
Oh, someone left to go get.
help or something.
Yeah.
Porco was the one that was supposed to be there still.
Yeah, but
or
it
something.
sounded like they killed Porco. Or
Yeah, but then they
animals
joked
did.
about it. But then
the animals did it. Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of confusing in some ways too with that whole group and that whole time frame. I feel like it wasn't a terrible thing what they did. It just didn't have a greater significance other than to hold up, and then being on Yavin 4. Those are the only two things. Unless those characters come back, that's the other thing. I originally thought when he was flying in that it was going to be a reference to season 1 trying to find his sister.
yeah, that's kind of how I thought too.
I thought that would have actually.
Well, it
looked
was just
things up.
interesting. You think like in season 2, like we've already met all the people we need to meet. We just need to watch how it's gonna go. But no. They're like, no, we're gonna give you a bunch more characters in the Lost
Mhm.
Boys, and
They were funny though. in the beginning especially.
all of the new people on the Imperial place when they were having that meeting, and then a couple of people at the wedding and the party there. I mean, we're still meeting new people,
Yeah.
but at the same time, in the first 3 episodes, we saw everybody from season 1.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
the first
because that's what we
just-
were counting down.
Yeah, just
Except for
about
Saw.
everybody in the first episode we saw, except for Cyril. Poor Cyril
Oh, that's
he
true.
didn't make it in episode 1, but then we got a lot of them in episode 2 and 3. I keep saying
Mhm.
that.
Right.
Yeah,
But
KG
speaking
says.
of which, yeah, you want to jump into some comments? I see the people are excited to talk. Oh, you want to talk about that?
Oh no,
Okay,
she just said, "Want to know if Porco was related to Porkins in any way?"
Yeah, I know. That's what I was
We said-
hoping. We were talking about that last night. We're like, is that Porkins? We need Porkins. He's still alive at this point.
exactly.
Porkins, where
Hilarious.
are you? He
Where
needs.
are you?
I hope they add him in some way. I think that would be absolutely hilarious.
It
if
would
they
be
add
hilarious.
Porkins into this. That would be so good, dude.
Oh,
Porkins
yeah.
needs his time. But what I'm seeing though here in the chat, and I think this is probably one of the best parts of the whole show
Yeah,
for us in
gotta
some
do
ways, for
it.
the levity and how fun it is. We're getting Dedra people. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. We're getting Dedra people. Dedra and Cyril survive, and they are an item. Let me tell you. They are.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% an item. And circling back to Bismo, he made a video about it today, so definitely go watch it and enjoy it. He covers Cyril and Dedra, which is it sounds dark, but it kind of makes sense for them and how creepy this relationship is. And I heard some other reviewers talking about it too, and they were saying it's like maybe it was Biz. I'm sorry, I'm getting things mixed up here. But how it's like how they're like such dark characters, but you still want to root for them.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't understand this. How
Yeah,
I feel
right.
about this. But we're getting Dedra people, and what a funny bit of television there that we got to see.
Sitcom-ish or something,
Yes.
even.
Yeah.
Or like you really could add the laugh track.
Yeah,
I already had the thought. I was like, dude, this is totally like,
Yeah.
Rom- like-
Boo-ba-doo.
yeah, with the right
Rom-com
music.
sitcom, yeah.
Yeah.
It's bizarre with the mother. I mean, because you're like, okay, they're together. This is different. This is what we expected. After that passionate ending in season 1 where
Yeah.
he saves her,
Yep.
and he but then everybody's like, oh no, he's a stalker. Me. It was like, well,
It wasn't.
It did
wrong.
appear that way. It did appear that way, but
Well,
it
it's
was
a little stalker-like.
he was very passionate. It did appear that way. It clearly changed, and she's doesn't quite. I mean, their relationship is bizarre based on their
It's so
upbringing. Their upbringing. You know,
Well, we get that, though.
Dedra, well, yeah, she explained some of her backstory.
And it makes sense.
How her parents were cooks, and she was raised in a whatever.
Yeah, by the Empire, basically, right?
Yeah, was it like something block? I think she called it like an imperial block.
Yeah.
And so must have been like imperial daycare, and then you just go to imperial school, and then you become an officer, you know, or whatever. And then if you're really good, you become in the ISB, and they could program you from the beginning.
Yeah, which, I mean, you can tell by the way that she is. And her upbringing that she's like a Terminator. She reminds me of a Terminator in some ways. Like she was programmed to do that. She only thinks in like, this is what I need to do. I will get it done. And logic. It's all like logic based in a lot of ways. So
and then
the catastrophe that
is she allowed to be with Cyril? You know what I'm saying? Like in the ISB, like are there no attachments? But in reverse,
I don't think so.
Are there any kind of laws, security clearances?
Maybe that,
because in the military back in the day in this country, you weren't allowed to get married unless the military approved it.
If you had a certain level of top secret clearance, right?
No, I just mean like period in the military. Like,
oh, really?
Your commanding officer approved you getting married.
I did not know that.
Because you're at that point, you're a soldier. You have to be, because otherwise you just take off and be like, I'm getting married. I'm out of here for a week or two.
Right.
You're like, no, we need you in the battle. So I wonder if in this Imperial ISB thing, they're like, well, we got to prove everything because we got to background check everybody, got to clear everybody. And clearly he had a mess up on Morlana 1, but so has she. So did she get demoted and now she's working her way back up? So at this point, they don't care about her anymore. They're like, you're just cleaning, the ISB bathrooms.
Well, yeah, that was an interesting take though, too, even how she did kind of get demoted and she did have to work her way back up from what happened on Ferrix and how poorly that went. And even her commanding officer mentioned that. And then that's why he was like, take the win, take this, do the best with it. And one of the brilliant lines he said about that was how Axis, he said, you made Axis out to be this, what did he say? What was the word he used? Shoot, to be this huge villain or something like that. But prove that he's there before you make him famous. I think that's what it was. Prove that he's there first and then make him famous. What you did the first time was you made him famous and then you tried to prove him he was there and you haven't yet. So it was hollow. And that's why it was interesting why he was trying to give her a career path like forward and trying to help her out, which was interesting.
Yeah, the Gorman thing. Yeah.
And how she didn't want it, which was weird. That's the other thing. Is she actually getting a conscience now? Is the Terminator getting a conscience? Or or was it just because she really just wanted to focus in on Axis? Like that's just her thing. That's like her coup de grace in some ways.
Or she becoming a family person and she wants to settle down with Cyril and meet the mom and she doesn't want any crazy assignments like murdering, massacring, I should say, different people on different planets that she doesn't care about, Yeah,
right.
But it's true. There's, these certain officers, they'll chase a cold case their entire life and then they'll solve it like 50 years later. They'll never give up on these things.
Mm-hmm.
In the ISB, if she could prove it right after all these years, and of course something's going to be proven right, it's not going to unravel well because we know how it ends. I think we know how it ends. But,
we'll see.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, we got... Hunter Davis says, well, real quick, he says, Dedra probably going to be the highlight of the show. And
exactly.
I think we can agree. That is already the highlight of the show for us and only up from here. But then he follows that up with a super chat.
Wow. What?
Hi,
dramatic.
I'm right here. The super chat caused Dustin to sneeze.
That came out of nowhere.
And here he is.
Sorry.
But thank you.
You made me sneeze, Hunter, for that super chat. I was blown away, buddy. Thank you so much.
Goodness.
He did not have to do that. And all he put there was cash money in the
Hunter
bank.
the Davies.
Hunter the Davies.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you so much, dude. We appreciate you. You are awesome. And cool. Well, that's awesome.
You can like his super chat.
You can like his super chat? I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's a new feature. And you can reply to it.
It's been like that for a little bit, but yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, we usually on the stream doing this. I'm not usually.
Yeah.
I can't really. Anyway, so Cyril and Dedra, hilarious. Let's talk about the funniest scene though with them was right before the funniest scene though was her trying on the outfit and then she smiled.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck was that? But also that was a really nice smile.
Yeah,
Not even gonna lie. That was actually a really nice smile. She looked normal for once.
Yeah,
And then immediately went back to like go ahead, back checker.
it was just so strange to kind of humanize her in that way when she was torturing people in season 1.
Yeah.
She's, you know, all about, just the Imperial vibe. She is in the Empire and
Dark.
they do bad things.
Yeah.
And then she's human. She's a real person. She's worried about what she's going to wear and impress the potential mother-in-law. It just is such a funny juxtaposition.
Yeah.
The comedy of them being nervous, so nervous, and how he's like, we could pretend like you're not back. And she's like, we can't cancel again, which is weird, grabs his face. I was like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
But it just kind of added to the weird dynamic of their relationship and how you understand, we talked about it in the stream, that Cyril did not have a father figure in his life. Kind of why he is the way that he is. He didn't have a strong father figure in his life. So it makes him I'm not saying he's weaker necessarily, but he's kind of more beta male in some ways, at least in this relationship, because it seems like she wears the suit pants here, Dedra, but also now knowing how Dedra was raised, and that it makes sense. And oddly enough, it works for them.
Mhm.
And but the nervousness they felt before, what's the mom's name? Edie. How she came over, and all I want to say there is that was a mastercraft. That whole sequence was a Ida. Sorry, Edie. I'm so sorry. I'll get it right eventually. Edie did that so well.
Yeah, she rocked it.
The mental jabs that were going on, like the little barbs they were throwing at each other, and how much it messed with Cyril.
Yeah.
It was just
It was so
brilliantly
funny.
written. I mean, just ridiculous.
It's like meeting the in-laws for the first time,
Yeah.
times 10.
Yeah, and you could see him dying inside. I mean, the poor guy, he's already screwed up enough, and then she's torturing him even more. He had to go take a nap. I mean, that's crazy.
It wore him out so much, he had to take a nap.
Well, because you could tell he was stressing, and like Dedra was like, "It's fine," like because she was like making a mess. She's like, "It's fine," you don't have to take your shoes off or whatever it was. Dedra was like, "Whatever, who cares?" You can, it was her place,
and she's cool under pressure in a lot of ways.
Yeah, she knows how to play it straight.
Also, what kind of tied back even to that point, Dan, was going back to Krennic.
Yeah,
Krennic said, and I love the way Krennic was brought in this and talked to Dedra, right? Dedra. Names are hard, people.
You're good.
But how he said, I know you have a plan. That's why I brought you here. You had a plan the first 5 or whatever, like the first time.
Yeah, that
I was like, dude,
interesting.
don't pretend like people haven't figured you out yet. Like the way they played Krennic and the lines he gave specifically to Dedra were perfection. And then that played back to whenever the first meeting with Edie. To Edie, and how she knew exactly how had to handle the situation.
Yeah.
And she just cuts right through all the crap. And she says, this game, it needs to stop. It's going to stop.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to do for you. And here's what you're going to do for me. Just lays it all out there. And Edie can't even refute it because Edie's getting what she wants.
Yeah.
And then so is Dedra. So I love that. I loved how they played that. It was genius the way they played it and how comical it was. Edie is a fantastic actress, and I love her for that. All of them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I still feel bad though for Cyril.
Yeah, it sucks for him.
Yeah, I mean, he must be happy with Dedra, so good for him. But yeah, he's rough in some ways, so many ways.
Yeah, poor Cyril. He's lived a messed up life, and he's just trying to kind of impress his mother. At the same time, he doesn't really care, but obviously that's all he's got. But he wants to basically, prove her wrong by becoming the success that she doesn't think he can be, or that she expects him to be. And then when he fails, you know what I mean? You're always trying to impress somebody, and if it fails, then you feel like, whatever. And I'm sure that's part of it, because that's Uncle Harlow has helped him and did this, that, and the other. And I mean, Hunter said, no, grade A gaslighter. But, he's...
Yeah,
Edie
seriously.
was awesome. Grade A gaslighter.
For
Edie was.
Edie,
Edie.
Yeah.
Yep. And she just is toxic in every way.
She really is.
And then to meet
Manipulative.
Dedra, and Dedra's like, I know how to deal with people like you. And she just turns it around and tells her what's up, and
But
yeah.
sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Dan, but Tamerkins has a great take here as
Mhm.
well. But the problem is also that now Dedra is going to control Cyril.
Exactly.
Is she going to make Edie back off, or is she going to become like another Edie to him?
I mean, I think it's inevitable. She's going to become another Edie to him. She already
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
She's just not as condescending.
And we
Yeah.
talked about that in last night's stream by saying, psychology
Mhm.
is a real thing. And sometimes you pick traits in your partner, not always the same, but some traits in your partner that you marry that is like your mother or like your father.
Mhm.
And it's funny because you can see that in this. You can see
Very clearly. Yeah.
that he was drawn to a strong woman, that knows how to get what she wants. Edie was the same way, but just more manipulative about it.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Well,
Well,
So-
and it's true. If all Cyril knows is like a toxic mother, then he would probably, find someone that's a little bit toxic and Dedra. But, obviously she's going to wear the pants in the family or whatever, tell Cyril what we're going to do. And this is how we're going to do it. And obviously she's got more superiority in the actual Imperial side of things as well.
Yeah.
So there's that front. I saw somebody earlier that mentioned something about,
That was Tamerkins.
Tamerkin's a controversy with if she can't tell him about Gorman,
yeah.
the friction there of, is it going to become a problem in their relationship because of course all Cyril talks about
Mhm.
and wants is to capture Andor and
Yeah.
be vindicated, but so does Dedra. So I'm sure there's going to be they could play that. I mean, obviously he'll write it and it'll be amazing, but there's a lot of things that could happen for better or for worse, where she sneaks, tells him where to be,
Yeah.
but doesn't tell him and he shows up. And
Yeah.
is she gonna potentially put her job on the line for Cyril?
Ooh.
Is she gonna stick up for her man now that she's got love? Whatever this is, love with Dedra and Cyril.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens.
Oh man, but that's
Mhm.
got to be one of the most
Yes.
fascinating things in this show. It was the most fascinating thing for us in season 1. We freaked out in that finale when he saved her.
Yes.
And he's like, and he actually said, "There she is," like he was just standing there in the crowd, and he
Yeah.
sees her.
Finally found her. Although he was actually
Ah.
okay, for all the people who say he was a creeper, yes, but also he was actually there to capture Andor.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that wasn't
He
the
didn't-
creeper part. The creeper
He
part
didn't
was
know
on-
she was going to be there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, he didn't. He just
So.
the creep part was when he found her after work or whatever one day.
Right.
But at the same time, he knew where he got interrogated, so he probably knew where she worked and wanted to have the conversation, but didn't know how to approach the conversation. And he went a little aggressive, grabbing her arm at that time, to talk to
Yeah.
her because she was going to walk away. He's like, "What are you doing?" But then at the same time, Dedra has never known a man that could stand up to her. I don't know.
And or matches her on
that
her intensity.
matches her on intensity, and then
That's
they have
true.
a shared.
That's, I think, is what it is.
They have
Mhm.
one common interest.
A
It's
goal.
amazing that common goal, how it pulls people together, and just interesting.
And how they dive so hard into their work, I think, is another thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
they showed that the first time we see Cyril in this. Cyril is him now being in charge of the place that he left off working at in the first season. Now he's in charge and he's telling this nerdy looking kid. I love it. I did not expect that comment from the trailer. There's a future here for if you're willing to take it or something like that, because he did the nerdiest, found all these
Right.
things. That's how
You
he
thought
got
it was going to be
promoted.
epic.
Yeah, and the way he did it was like, it sounded like an accountant's like dream. That's like what it was. It was like, I found the biggest problem in the company and it's saving us millions of dollars, like, or something like, I don't know. It was hilarious how he even explained it and how he found this fraud or whatever. And it led to
Yeah.
all this thing. He was so proud of that achievement, which I'm not saying it was a bad achievement. It was a good achievement, but it was just hilarious how
Yeah.
nerdy that was. But then how that ties to Dedra and how, fever she is to catch her prey. So
Mhm.
that they're so similar in that regard.
Yeah.
But I do want to say here real fast. All right. Are we calling this right now? This might be a big call and I might be jumping ahead of myself. is there a possibility? I almost want to go over under, but is there a possibility that Cyril and Dedra end up on the rebellion side by the end of this?
Ooh.
I don't know. That's okay. It's been plaguing my mind. We talked about it last
What
night.
happens when Bix comes across Dedra? And Dedra's like, I'm with the rebellion now.
That's a really good point. I don't know if that's gonna go.
And
very
then
well.
Andor sees her and is like, I gotta talk to you.
I got a bone to pick.
And then Cassian sees Cyril. I mean, how deep is the rebellion gonna go? I'm like, how far are they pulling people out of the Empire to fight back? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could see, as there was in Ahsoka, where there was Fulcrum, and I could see where there might be informants. Maybe they could work with the rebellion, but they never show their face on Yavin 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, they stay a part of the Empire to connect. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But do everything that they can, because she's really high up, so she could get Fulcrum level security stuff and feed it to the, maybe she had something to do with the Bothans. Maybe she rejects the Gorman and she helps save somebody that would have died there, like Mon Mothma, or you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm ruminating. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No, I just had another thought though. I feel like one of the only ways, and this is a terrible thought in some ways, is Dedra would switch to the rebellion, is if the Empire kills
Cyril.
That's a real thing that could happen.
Wait, say that again?
The only way that Dedra will turn to the rebellion is if the Empire kills Cyril.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's totally their fault.
Mm-hmm.
And she sees it for what it is, and she's like, no, I'm done with you.
Yeah, she would have to have, you're right, a 180.
I think that's one of the only things, unless he can convince her to go to that side.
Yeah.
Or maybe her boss or Krennic is like, okay, your man was following you to this top secret mission. You need to take him out.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, and she can't.
She has to prove her loyalty.
And she can't.
You know what I'm saying? There's always that crossroads, the Rix Road crossroads, the Gorman crossroad. Where are you going to go do the thing for the Empire that you're supposed to do, including taking this guy out, just like Mon Mothma's having to face against Tay Kolma?
Yeah.
Watch her best friend from childhood be waxed because he's turned to the wrong side. She's willing to do that for the rebellion, clearly.
Yeah.
Is, what's her name going to do that to fight the Empire to hold her own sense of sanity? That would be the only thing. I think you're right. That would do that. I see. Take a break, mate. Said
a lot of people have thoughts on it.
Yeah, we got to get into that.
They took the Inferno Squad in Battlefront 2, which is technically canon, so the rebellion can basically take anyone. The Inferno Squad was pretty bad. That's a good point.
That's a good point, man. There were some other comments.
Dedra is so ingrained in the system. I just don't see her being able to turn back on everything she knows. Cyril is different because all he wants is justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all she knows. Yeah, she's completely brain wiped.
But I like what KG said here. Dedra's hesitation on the Gorman thing makes me wonder, but I still doubt it for her. Yeah, that's the thing. So real quick, I know everybody's kind of got their own idea here, which is fascinating. It's an interesting topic.
It's also fascinating that everybody's very wrapped up in Cyril and Dedra.
Yes.
And it makes my heart happy.
Such a funny thing.
Why'd you have to do it that tone?
I don't know, because it's just the way it is.
It's creepy enough, so that tone is actually pretty perfect for it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
and
dissonant. It's like a
dissonant.
That's what their love is, though. It's a haunting choir. So it's beautiful, but also haunting.
It's very haunting. It's scary. In fact, it's scary good. That's what's weird about it. I'm like, I don't understand this, but I guess it works. And
we
why do
I still love
I can't look away when they're playing the opera music and she's so panache with her.
Yeah, what was that? That was crazy.
The food in the middle, what do they call that? I said it yesterday.
It's like the fondue.
Chicken meat thing with gravy. It's like a fancy Coruscant-y dish.
Yeah.
I want to know the names of those dishes so that, like, the finale, we can eat that meal or eat like a meal from the show. That would be so awesome.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, Bismuth says y'all were the OG shippers. We're the only weirdos that picked up on this kind of stuff.
You're not sure that's a compliment.
And you're right. We got lucky with a video that we did that got us excited because at the same time, basically the video that set this channel up for the beginning of success
of the end. Just
Oh, no.
was a Cyril video
yeah, it was.
that popped off. It was like the first video, one of the first
Oh,
videos that
man.
popped off other
That's
than
true.
Laser Brain. And
Right.
and then it just kept rolling. We did a couple more, and for us, we're like, "Oh my goodness!" And people clearly liked it back then. They were just so taken aback. And
Yeah.
We were all looking
We're still-
for love. We
Yeah,
were
that's
looking
the
for
thing.
ships in Star Wars.
That's literally the only
We
thing
found one,
That was the
but
only love story they get. We had to
Right.
cling on to whatever we had.
Exactly.
That was
Yeah.
all we had, guys.
Yeah, we were desperate,
And
desperate,
girls.
and that was before Dinbo. Of course, then 3-4 months later, we saw the makings of Dinbo down in the
Yeah.
mines of
Yes.
Moria,
just
Mandalore.
I knew
a
you were
little
gonna
bit
go
more
there.
comforting and
Yeah, well,
and
so we were like,
normal.
okay, let's go to look. Oh, that's what a healthy relationship could look like. And then they
Yeah.
didn't end up with it, and we're
I
like,
know.
back to Cyril and Dedra.
Right. Right. I see Christina B jumped in. Thank you for
Yeah.
jumping in, Christina.
What's up?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Babish can do an episode of him making the dinner meal. That'd be hilarious.
That'd
good
be awesome.
good crossover for
Uh-huh.
sure.
Yeah.
Bowden for the win, says Bismo.
Nice.
Or Dimbo. We like to say
Yeah.
Dimbo because it sounds dumb and funny.
Well, and
but-
I like also what Tamerkin said. Whatever happens, I think it's gonna be tragic by the end.
Yeah.
I don't think she's talking about Stay on Target. I think she's talking about Dedrasil or Dedrill. What do we call it? Yeah, Dedrill.
Dedrill.
What
She's
about?
probably right about Santa.
Yeah, I had a combination of it earlier. I don't remember what it was, but I'll think of it.
I was gonna say,
Oh,
all right.
sorry,
So, going back to my quick question here of, do we think they're gonna switch to the Rebellion? I know Tamerkin
Oh, yeah.
said that they might see him going to the Rebellion, not her, because she's too ingrained in the system, which I can
Yeah.
understand in a lot of ways. But they did it also in Rebels with
Callus.
Callus.
That was the best arc ever.
That was a fantastic arc, and it made
And
you
he was
love that
messed
character
up.
so much more.
I mean, for crying
So-
out loud, Vader turned back to the rebellion in the end.
Yeah, that's true.
He was the
He
ultimate
practically
savior
built it.
of the rebellion
Yeah,
at the very
yeah,
last second.
You're not wrong.
So
You're
if
not
you
wrong.
can forgive Mr. Anakin,
Mr. Anakin Bananakin.
Mr. Anakin, Darth Vader. I mean, I'm just saying, she's creepy though. I mean, Dedra, when she's in game on mode, like I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa. Like in that office, in that space when she was talking to Krennic, like he was trying to be like forward with her and like, I know you were thinking of something. I read you like a book. You know, he was all trying to
Yeah.
be, and it's true. Krennic is kind of a top, Imperial dude too. He was like, tell me what you think. I want to know. And she was just like, blah.
Yeah, it's just she
She's
did.
like,
He
okay.
was right.
And then she walked away.
Yeah, she's like, peace out.
When
dude.
she
I'm
walked
good.
away, I was like,
That's bold.
that's a bold move. I'm like, yes, sir. I'll just officer, sir.
Right.
She's just like, I'm out. I don't need to talk
But she
to you.
didn't. She doesn't really like him. I don't get the sense that she likes him at all.
That's interesting. That's
Mhm.
very interesting because
I think she sees.
I don't think
through him
anybody
in some
likes. I don't
ways.
think anybody likes Krennic. Actually, if you
No.
look back to Rogue One, he was kind of like Vader was like slapping him around. Tarkin was slapping him around because remember Tarkin
think-
took his glory and
I think the through line they keep with Krennic though is his lust for power. And
Yeah.
people see that more than anything, and that's why they dislike him.
Well, yeah, and is that Dedra's
Imperial
goal?
way.
yeah.
Is she wanting that power, or is she wanting to solve things?
Right.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
don't
she cares about the power.
Not
Does
as
she?
much.
JQ says still a punching bag, Krennic.
Yes.
Basically.
He is still a punching bag.
But intimidating.
Yeah.
No,
or is
but-
she looking for attention? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
For Dedra? Yeah.
It could be. Yeah, for sure. That's man. There's so many things. There's so many things we could talk about, and we will be here all night if we talk about
I
every
know.
single thing.
Yeah, but I don't think my take is I don't think either of them will switch.
You
Okay,
don't.
yeah, I was gonna say you don't think
Nope.
either of them.
I think they're going to stay Imperial till the end.
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably most likely, but it would take a miracle to bring them to the rebellion, but only
Mhm.
Tony Gilroy could probably pull it off in a way that we liked it
Yeah.
or that it
Yeah.
made sense.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the tragedy of this. Or they just live on as that because Krennic we know doesn't make it. Maybe they just live on and happily ever
Mhm.
after, or they don't join the rebellion, but they get out of the Empire. Where do you go?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not a part of the Empire is everywhere, as we've seen.
Yep.
That's what this show is probably the best at, is showing you the weight of the
How
Empire.
dark they are. Now.
Yeah.
Oppressive,
Like
man.
times 5 than
Yeah.
season 1.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my goodness.
Then everything else.
they're, like,
in
everywhere.
ways. Yeah.
Yeah, and so just to, like, if they did decide to disappear, where could they disappear? That's not. There'd be some outer rim system, but those are obviously occupied now. So
Yeah,
they don't
right.
really have much choice. They have to either join the rebellion and hide out with them, or they got to go stay with the Empire and be double agents if they wanted to join the rebels.
And Luthen's plan is coming to fruition. I mean, that's the thing. That's his goal. He wanted the Empire to tighten up on everything. He wanted them to oppress more because he knows the more you oppress, the more you hang on to something, the more you try to control things, it's going to burst at the seams at some point. And his plan is coming to fruition in this. I love it. I also see here, Take Break has a great one. He says, the road to the dark side is paved with peace, freedom, justice, and security. It's very true. It is very true.
And and ultimate power. Wait, no,
Yes.
unlimited power.
He said the line.
He said
dude.
the line.
That's good.
He said the line. I love that he said the line. How fun was that?
He said the line. I mean, because that's apparently with the spider people and the thing on,
That was
on
okay.
the travel agency
That
ad.
was hilarious
for like
that we got
5 minutes.
a travel ad. They let that ride too. They were proud of that travel ad. You know that they made that. I
Was that
actually
the
really enjoyed that.
Second, that was the first episode.
That was the first
Oh,
episode.
okay, yeah, that was a good episode.
Yeah. It was fantastic, dude.
Wow. Yeah, it's it was pretty tough.
Speaking of the first episode, though, and going back to Luthen, I still really love Luthen's character in this. He is actually one of the ones I was looking forward to most in season 2, just for his monologues alone. And the line, though, we're going to skip to the greatest part of the entire, in Luthen's regard. I know you have character things, Dan. Sorry, if you want to introduce those at any moment, we can do that if you wanted to.
Well, I figure we'll save them. We can rapid fire 'em
Okay,
wrap it all up.
Oh, good point. Good point. Okay. But Luthen, one of the greatest lines in this already was whenever he said, when Mon Mothma is like, I don't even know what you're talking about, basically. I can't grasp, or whatever she said. I don't know the exact quote. I've only seen it once. And it made sense for her to say that. And he said, you need to be protected. But then right after she said, I don't know what you're talking about, he says, how nice for you.
Oh,
Perfect line. Perfect line. Perfect delivery. He knows his place in the rebellion. He knows. And that goes right back to his monologue in season 1, where he is the one who, what was it? He sees the sunrise he'll never see. That's the thing. He's the one that has to do the dirty work to prop up the true rebel leaders, to give people a sign of hope and justice, and that they're not getting their hands dirty. But he knows he can't be that leader. He has to be the ones behind the scene. He will never get recognition. He went into that for what he's done. And I love that about that character. It is genius to me. It makes so much sense, and I love him more for it in some ways, although he is very dark. But man, that was a great line. Great delivery. And also, oh man, the jumping from Luthen in some ways, but still tying in, was Perrin. I was not expecting Perrin to have as much of a role in this,
right?
as he did with Mon Mothma, and his monologue during the basically like the best man speech, but there's the bride speech. His monologue was fantastic, dude. It made you feel so many more different things. You're like, wait, does he actually dislike his wife, or does he actually still really like his wife? What's going on here?
He doesn't like her. He's just crazy. He's
I don't
out.
know,
He's
man.
out of it. Nah, I mean, I think he
But
does,
He was
but
performing, maybe, but
I don't know.
there's probably some truth to
Yeah.
that.
I think there was some
Yeah.
truth to it, because you saw the look on her face too.
Yeah.
They kept panning around to other people, and even Luthen, one of the ones was he panned to, and kind of the realization of Luthen trying to appreciate the little moments he has too. It kind of tied in that speech was tying into everybody in the room. And I was like, wow, this is a multi-layered like speech being given to father of the bride with this whole messed up situation, but he's finding the beauty, and it starts off, kind of tragic, and it felt so much like a father of the bride speech. It fit so perfectly. Have we not heard speeches like that in a lot of ways at weddings?
yeah, it felt so
Great advice,
did feel very normal. But I did hear that Gilroy mentioned that he liked Perrin when he was writing him, and he felt like after season 1, the way people just dismissed him, it made him upset, because he had tried to craft Perrin to be more layered. And then he said that the way that people just like, oh, Perrin, that guy's a loser. That guy's just a complete loser.
Okay.
And it kind of made him be like, oh, okay, I got to dig into this.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're getting here at the beginning. Like, Perrin's not as simple as it looks. He's not as dumb and just one like note, I'm going to turn the daughter against her. You know, and you could see even in Mon Mothma's eyes, she was like tearing up, kind of looking at him, almost like I heard that, like maybe remembering the better days. I mean, Mon Mothma had to deliver quite the performance.
Yes, she did, man.
As a character and the actress herself, but
Yeah.
the character itself was she was constantly like, "I'm so happy to say," you know, she was like, and
it
then
was like
shocked,
back and forth. It was like
and
a
then she's like,
yo-yo.
Yeah.
"You don't have to do this, Lita. You can be strong." And she's like, "I wish you were drunk." And she's like, and she's crying.
But
She's
then
like,
she switched, dude.
and then she's
That
like,
moment was so
"I'm supposed
good.
to be in front."
I'm in front. She accepted the reality
like-
and took control of it, which, again, another sign of a true leader here, which I love what Take a Break here is saying, and Hunter, about Luthen, that we were talking about Luthen and how he doesn't need the recognition to still be the best and to be the leader that he needs to be behind the scenes. But Take a Break says, the greatest people plant trees they shall never see grow. That is a great line, man. And then Hunter Davis says, that's the mark of leading. Yeah, it really is.
Yep.
You don't need recognition for it. I mean, that's just being a good person and a good leader. So that's what Luthen's doing. And that's why it's tragic. Again, it's a tragedy in some ways. He's not getting the recognition that we feel like he deserves.
One thing that I thought was a little cheesy in the first 2 episodes or one episode, there's only like 1 or 2 parts, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of times when like Luthen was just like sneakily walking and watching.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like
playing a
there's,
bit of Cyril.
yeah, I feel like there was more than one moment where it was just kind of like Luthen walking through.
He was too obvious.
And I was like, Luthen,
Yeah.
are you trying to be casually listening? Because the way your facial expression, you're definitely eavesdropping.
Yeah.
Like if anybody looked over at him and be like, Luthen, you got a problem? Because he was only like 6 feet away. But that being said, like, I guess it makes sense. Like he's always on, and that's where they were asking. Somebody was asking Kleya. They're like, "What are you doing here?" You know, and they're like, "Well, we got a gift, and then we're working." And
How cool is it that he was still tied in even with Davos Skolden? I was not expecting that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and on that, going back to Perrin, KG has an interesting theory that she thinks Perrin turned Tay through Davo.
Perrin
turned Tay Kolma.
I think he turned Tay through Davo.
Yeah, isn't that what I said?
Yeah, and doesn't want Mon to know, leaving Mon shocked because there was some complications.
Wait, so it was Perrin was the mastermind behind
That's KG's
Tay
theory.
Kolma
Yes.
betraying Mon Mothma.
Yes.
Yes.
So he wanted to drive a wedge between them.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, of
because
course.
He knew, and he
They
still.
were
But does that
close.
mean he still wants her then?
No, he just might hate her that much.
He just
Oh,
doesn't
might
want
be
her
a bit
to
of
be
both.
happy or whatever. Because he was joking about, oh, your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's clouded.
But then goes to the moments where you. The small moments where you love each other. And
Oh,
all
she
that
said
stuff.
Luthen. She said Luthen
Oh,
turned
sorry,
him,
I
not
misunderstood
Oh.
that. My bad.
I could see that. I could see Luthen going to getting to Davos.
You turned her against me. You've done that yourself.
You've done that yourself. Yeah, that makes sense.
That would
actually
be-
with Luthen. Okay, I thought.
Would that
Okay.
make sense with Luthen?
But
Because that's kind of
Perrin was
twisted.
also talking with them
Yeah,
too.
I
So
could see both.
Well,
there's
Pe-
so much
well,
going
'cause
on.
He was a little bit inebriated when Perrin was chatting with him, and he admitted, like,
Yeah.
well, he's always been a weak whatever.
Yeah, Perrin was trying to tell Mon how bad he was.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
still feel like Perrin does like
Mon.
I'm getting that feeling.
I think he's a controlling person, and he wants her
Yeah,
to
maybe.
listen to him.
But
And-
that
and you're
speech, man, that speech was a good speech.
Yeah, but you're
For
comfortable
somebody-
with what you know is that's the saying. Plus,
Yeah.
they have power and
Money and
yeah.
But it also because it might also be though the fact that the wedge was driven between Perrin and Mon, but that doesn't mean that Perrin didn't love Mon.
Mhm.
It just might have been over time because of her responsibilities in the Senate and everything. But then she put even more into stuff, and it looks like she's just pining for herself all the time and not taking the time to be with Perrin or develop their relationship. I mean, unfortunately, in weddings over time, there can be wedges that are driven if you don't take the time to spend time together. That was a lot of time,
lot
but
of time.
you have to invest in each other always in your marriage to help it fully develop. Although they were technically a arranged marriage,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. It's fascinating. It's almost like he's still trying to get her love in some ways. Like he's never fully proved himself to her.
Right.
It's a weird. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. This is just me kind of spitballing in some ways, and maybe I don't know. I don't know what I'm going with.
It just feels
here,
like Tony Gilroy is playing 4D chess,
He
and we're
is.
trying really hard to keep up with it.
We're trying so hard, people.
It's fun though.
Well,
it's a
it's-
lot of fun.
Yeah. It's the thing that like we always would do, and we would always, oh, I wonder if they're going to go this direction. And then we realized that the writer was like, we're way far ahead of that. Like we're
Yeah.
thinking of all these theories. But I think Tony Gilroy is like 72 steps down the road on
Right.
us. And I've heard that, I mean, I'm sure you have too, Dustin, but some of the people that saw this entire thing have said that the first arc was the weakest.
I have heard that.
That is crazy to
I've
me.
absolutely heard that.
So we're like, our minds are blown, but they said it's weakest in the sense that it's the most setup-y. And everything that happens here plays out perfectly through the rest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So nothing is throwaway. It all weaves in. All of these conversations matter. All of the setup matters. I realized the only other character we never saw was Saw.
Yeah.
Seesaw is what we're going to call him from now on. We seesaw, now he
We
goes.
seesaw.
Seesaw.
we don't seesaw.
You want a seesaw? He is kind
But-
of like a seesaw, too. He's crazy with his emotions.
Yeah. Oh, he is seesaw.
That
Seesaw.
works.
But
He's
this is-
seesaw saw.
Just a
Seesaw.
year later, he might be different.
Yeah, he might be more stable now.
No, he's
He just needs a vacation. He's
Rogue
been,
One, people? Oh, God.
been living in the caves too much.
Yeah, he's been
But
lost.
Christine said there was a moment when Mon was dancing,
Yeah.
and there was a close-up
See?
of Perrin
There's-
looking at her with concern.
Things going on.
There's things going on.
Just
It's very
saying,
confusing.
It's very nuanced.
But sometimes you know how they do this in shows where they're like, oh, well now they're like this and now they're like that. But Tony Gilroy's like, I'm not playing you both sides
Yeah.
just to like confuse you to make it interesting.
Right.
Like he's actually leading, like, because you're not going to know where any of these characters are going to land. It's like Clue. Like who's
Yeah,
the
what's the
actual
Who's
villain here?
Yeah.
And then at the end, the rebellion lines up. The only thing
it's
that
everyone.
we can say,
That's spoilers.
yeah, that's everyone. The only thing I think we can say is that we don't see Perrin in Rogue One or after that.
Yeah.
And there's no talk of Perrin. So if that's the end game, then
But-
I don't know.
But
maybe he turns good and then he sacrifices or something. you
But
know?
that's also, that's not necessarily like that wasn't plot points for original Star Wars. That's something they're not going to add into the original Star Wars. Is like, where's her husband? In the greater plot points in the story of the show of the movies. They're obviously not going to talk about that because it's not important to the story, and you're trying to move the story along as quickly as possible. Whereas in the show, we are able to take the time to develop these things. So I'm not saying they're gone, but it possibly they could. She might have to make a choice.
Yeah.
And one interesting thing too, I did see online here was one of the guys that was talking to her. I forget. It said his name. He said his. Oh, my computer died. Dang it. No worries. He was one of the guys. He's kind of
here.
handsome, hair looking dude. He said.
Yeah, I sent it to you earlier. Right?
Yeah, you sent it to me. Yeah, it was the connection
Erskine
between
was his name. Erskine. Somebody or other.
But they tied it. That was in Rebels.
Mhm.
That same dude was in Rebels as like her bodyguard type person, I think. So
Yeah.
I was cool. I didn't know that. I didn't even realize that. And then they brought that in. But thanks for finding that, fact checker. That was
so
awesome.
much. I haven't actually watched any other YouTube opinions on it other than one. And
And you will not divulge.
And it was our stream from last
It
night.
it was our stream. It was just me. Only the parts that I talked. I was like, there was this really smart guy, and he really had good opinions.
Exactly.
And I agreed with everything he said. Actually, it's funny. I'll listen to myself back and disagree with myself. Have you ever done that?
Oh yeah.
We've seen it live on stream, Dan.
Where I disagree with myself live? Oh, yeah, thanks for the reminder. Right. He'll probably stay on croissant, though, instead of going wherever the
Yeah.
rebellion goes. If he was, maybe he was eating a cheesecake. Who was eating a cheesecake? Saw? Seesaw
No,
saw?
I think he was talking about
Perrin?
Perrin, yeah.
Why was he eating cheesecake? Because he was concerned, or he was just having a
Just the
bathroom
cake.
issue?
Just the cake at the wedding.
Oh, was it?
But
cake?
I didn't want to
Or
pull.
Hunter just wants cheesecake.
Or maybe he just wants
Hunter, do you want some
cheesecake.
cheesecake?
Yeah. I want cheesecake. dang
Who
it.
likes cheesecake here?
Oh my goodness, off target.
I like that. I'm using that in a short. That was a perfect shot.
Like, don't make that something else though. That looks bad in some ways.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
I don't know what you're talking about. Wait, yeah, there we go. There
There
we
we
go.
go. I do. Pew pew pew. Hungry Hunter. Like hungry hunter. That's how you gotta say it. Hungry hunter. Hungry, my boy.
Oh,
but yeah,
dear.
I was gonna tie it back though. Of all the arcs though in these 3 episodes, where do they kind of land? There's the kind of Andor arc that we have. There's the Brasso Bix arc on the planet. There's the Cyril and Dedra arc, and then there's also the wedding arc, which I feel like the wedding arc takes up the majority in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's the through line.
It does pass between, but no arc was I disappointed. That's the thing. The only slight, like I wouldn't say minor critique, was just the pacing when it came and the time we spent with the Maya Pay. Is that what they were called?
Yeah.
Lost Boys.
Yeah, the Lost Boys. That was my biggest critique. But as far as like, I'd say if you guys were to rank it, what would you rank the through lines for 1 through 3? What would you put it at?
I mean, I was fascinated with the heaviness of the Andor and Bix and the Brasso. That felt really intense.
Mm-hmm.
The most intense. The wedding felt a whole slew of emotions. But did you mention Cyril and Dedra?
No, yeah, I did. Yes,
that
did.
was the
Yep.
lightheartedness.
Right.
That's so funny to say. And then I
For
think
these crazy people. That's
and then the darkest one was the Brasso and them, the Ferrex people. That was the darkest one. But it was interesting because the kid was having a love story, whatever. That was kind of a lighthearted thing.
Yeah,
And
that's
then-
true. We
And
got
then
another love story.
Yeah, and then we got their little like potluck dinner,
That was
that was
nice.
kind of nice and actually some happy moments in there. So even the dark
relatable moments.
Yeah, even though they felt the oppression of the Empire the most in this, they actually had
Right.
some moments where they got to be human and exist before their demise, and sad moments and rough moments all through. But then Andor coming in and wrecking shop was good.
So which one? Just going back to the original question.
Yeah.
What would you rate at the top out of those 4 when it comes to? Would you say?
I think the wedding was number 1.
wedding's number 1.
What was
Cyril Dedra
probably
number 2.
Cyril and Dedra because it was so much fun.
And there wasn't a lot to chew on. There was.
What was the 4th option?
The 3rd option is Andor. The 4th option is Bix and Brasso.
Because Andor was on the thing. I think the Lost Boys was at the bottom, whatever that was.
Yeah, so that's
And then-
Andor technically in some ways.
Yeah, for the first 2.
Or if you
for
wanna
the
put
first
5.
2, for the
Yeah.
first 2,
Yeah.
and then Ferrex group was number 3 probably, or 2. It was close.
Yeah, Paul. Even the dinner party arc was fine. It was unique. I agree. I completely agree.
KG, I think the Niamos theme banger is ruined for me now
Oh no!
because of
Because of Brasso.
Brasso.
That was a bold choice that they kept that music playing while panning over his
Yeah.
dead body. I was almost I still had hope for him though at that point where I was like, maybe he's gonna breathe, maybe he's gonna get up, maybe there's gonna be a sign of life. Please, Brasso, wake up.
Right. And Paul says here, even the dinner party arc was fine. It was unique.
Yep.
Yeah, the dinner party
completely agree.
at the beginning, right? Not the wedding.
Yeah.
I like the dinner party. That
Or was he talking about the wedding?
No,
Dinner
he's
party.
talking about
That's pre-wedding. The dinner
Pre-wedding.
party.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the dinner party was fascinating. That was such a cool way of introducing everybody, and the way that the camera just kept moving throughout, and you
Right.
saw everybody. And
It's funny though. The show's called Andor, and some of our favorite moments are not with Andor. Like, I don't get me wrong, I still love Andor,
for now.
but yeah, for now. But like the wedding arc was fantastic. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into mine. Fact checker, what about you? Let's go into your. What was your top like your arcs if you had to rate them?
Okay, say him again. Sorry.
Okay, we got the wedding arc, we got Andor's arc, including the Lost Boys.
Yeah,
we
I
got
agree with
Bix,
Dan. That's at the bottom.
Brasso, and then we got Dedra and Cyril. 4.
Oh man, that is tough.
let's start with the worst.
Worst is definitely the Lost Boys.
Yeah,
Andor's
he
part in
spent
that was fine.
If he wouldn't have spent as much time
Yeah.
there, it would have been better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And so I'm hoping for greater things to come with Cassian himself. But keep it on target. So that one's the bottom.
Nice reminder to yourself.
Yeah.
Keep it on target. I can do this.
You said Cyril and Dedra, Bix and Brasso. What was the other one? The wedding.
The wedding.
Dang it. It's
should've
tough. I liked the wedding stuff too. There's so many dynamics there, but that would probably put it 3rd. And then probably Cyril and Dedra 2nd, and then Brasso and Bix.
Really? You putting Bix and Brasso first?
Yeah, a lot of people
Wow.
like that one.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean-
it was hard,
Right.
but there's something to it that I keep thinking about.
Felt very Star Wars.
Yeah.
it did for sure. That
Just a nice, happy-go-lucky group of people just trying to make their way, and then all of a sudden the Imperials show up and cause a whole mess for everybody. And that was nice of them to hold them as refugees, but that poor guy, the shop owner with his family,
Yeah.
Thankfully, nothing bad happened to them yet.
Well,
but is something going to happen to them now? I don't know.
But the fact that like Brasso till the end was a hero.
Yeah.
He was a hero, man. He wanted to save people. Like even what he did to that shop owner alleviated that shop owner of any guilt. Like he was trying to get the shop owner out. It was brilliant. It looked like from the face value, we're like, oh, he's being a jerk. What are you talking about?
It threw me.
But then you're like, no, he's actually saving that guy by saying you ratted on us. You did this to us, basically saying like, why didn't you, so he's putting him on the Imperial side is what he did to alleviate him. And
that's
the
true.
little smile they had there. And he also overheard the whole situation going on with Bix. And that's why he took off running to distract them so they couldn't go get Bix.
Yeah, fight. Yep.
So
even in his dying moment, he did sacrifice himself.
He sacrificed himself. And he did that for his friend Andor in season 1. He used Marva Brick to beat the Empire down, which is awesome. And tragedy for Brasso, that hurt the most in the entire show. Plus the ickiness we got right before this.
Yeah, but Brasso is a hero.
He is a hero, man.
And he should get accolades for that.
He should.
I think in honor of Brasso, since you did such a great job of giving him his eulogy there.
Pretty handsome man,
there
too.
He is.
I mean, he was a big dude, man. How tall is he? Fact checker, can you look up how?
He's as tall as Chewbacca, I heard.
Yeah, is he really?
No, in Legends, I mean,
a
man as tall as Chewbacca,
he's
as noble as Obi-Wan.
I see here in the comments as well. We got. I'm probably gonna butcher your name because it's got a hyphen thing. I don't know how to
start with
pronounce
Oscar.
It. Oscar. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how to say it. Oscar Tecolatte. I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry if I butcher that. But Brasso was gem of a man. Absolutely right, man. Brasso did not deserve what he got. Long live Brasso, says Tamerkins. Yes. They better do some... It was sad that they didn't even carry him, although I understood because Andor's like half his size and weight, so he probably would have got shot just trying to drag him back to the ship. But they could have all grabbed Brasso and took him with them and gave him the funeral he deserved.
He's 6'3".
Dang.
So he's tall. Very tall.
Oh, he's not that much taller than us, though.
Oh, nice, KG.
Everybody else must be pretty short in that
show. Just assume that if you're an actor or an actress, that they're short.
Wow, that's generalization right there.
I'm just saying, it's the truth.
Oh my goodness,
shockingly true.
Also, we don't know what. Speaking of Paul, as long as B2 email survives,
that's a good point.
They
been
don't
wondering
give us
about that.
He's still on that planet.
I don't like it. Like we need B2 to come back.
B2 is like the left behind dog. Like every time, man. I feel bad for B2 almost more than anybody else in the show.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Sure.
He's like, I want to go with you. You're like, no, stay. It's like, sheesh.
Yeah.
Stay, dog, stay.
It's true.
It's also for the fact that he doesn't travel well. He needs like some rocket boosters or something to travel better.
He needs an upgrade pack. He needs to get upgrade.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Yeah, KG, he tried to protect the farmer family too.
Dude, he was just...
He protected everybody.
He is the unsung hero.
And then you love how they wove in this particular moments in this episode. You know what I'm saying? Anytime that happens, be warned. Because they gave us lots of heroic moments with him. As soon as that happens, or as soon as two people fall in love, bam, one of them's gone.
That's terrible.
That's what always happens in these things, you know? They're like, that's what they would do in even like the animated shows. They're like, we're
like this.
We're going to focus in on, remember the nerd Tech?
Yep.
And then they're like, oh, Tech, and he's fallen in love, and he's this, and he's that. He's gone.
And good things are happening
like,
to him.
Shoot!
Yeah, it's almost like a trope at this point. Oh, good things are happening. Dead.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's basically Wally. Exactly, Hunter.
Wally.
For B2 emo there. But yeah, what a legend of a man, Brasso, and sad to see him go. But you know what? Like I was saying before, it was the gut punch, you know? It made sense as far as like how evil the Empire is and how good men, unfortunately, die when in this Empire. But I think the thing about it, he will inspire many other men to stand up and be even better and carry on the torch, like Andor, like what was the kid's name?
Yeah, I'm not
That fell
sure. I
in
was just
love. We'll have to
thinking
look that up, but him as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, they'll go on, and I did like to see that little love story. But back to the question again, I would say for me the ranking as far as arcs go in this, I would have to say the wedding arc was actually my favorite. I really enjoyed the
Oh,
wedding
wow,
arc
okay.
because of Luthen, because of the intrigue. I know it wasn't action heavy, which is kind of surprising for me to say, but also for the fact that we got the Rakatan, the KOTOR reference. I think Biz is probably going to shout it from the rooftops here, but which I totally called it wrong. I said the total wrong thing like an idiot in the live stream. I need to get roasted for that. I said it was High Republic, you moron, Dustin. But it was actually a KOTOR reference, and that was awesome. And I loved that he even added that bit of lore in there, which was so cool. And that's what Luthen was doing. Everything about it made sense, and I loved it. So, but from the first episode with the shots, the long pan shots that they had, and the music, and like Dan was saying about Mon Mothma and the different emotions she had to portray through that whole sequence. I mean, that's tough stuff to do as an actress and actor. And they nailed every single beat with that. Plus the intrigue with everything going on. It's just so fascinating. I know for a lot of people, it's just blobbing, which I understand to a certain degree, especially in Star Wars. But if you think of it as like a World War II, like spy thriller, like I was talking about last night, you could kind of see it from that perspective. But I really enjoyed it for that. But going to my next one, I would say it's a toss-up between Cyril and Dedra and Bix and... I'm going to go Cyril and Dedra because I had so much fun with that. That's the next one. Okay. And it didn't hurt me as much. It didn't really hurt me. It made me laugh so much. It was the levity I needed. And then I would go Bix and Brasso and the other kid. And then I would go Andor. Just the pacing. I mean, I did enjoy certain moments of it, but just in the first 2 episodes, I was like, okay, yeah, let's keep the plot moving though, guys. Let's keep the plot. And Andor's our main character, and you got him tied up on a ship with some bozos. It's like, come on, man. I want to see him do some heroic stuff, which we did get. It was satisfying. But I see it. There he is. Wismo? Wow, Bismo shouting from the rooftops. Woohoo! Yeah, the Rakatans, man. The KOTOR reference was absolutely on point. So that's our rank. Let us know which one you guys liked in the comments and in the chat there.
Yeah, the amateur rebels were funny, but also annoying. Yeah, you're right. They were funny, and then they kind of like overcooked it.
It was kind of a gag that kept going, although the only saving grace for that was how much it made the fact checker cringe during the dinosaur. No, I'm just joking.
You would love that.
No, I actually liked the Jurassic Park references. Yeah. Like, that was fun. With the fog, the animals, the creatures, like, that was awesome. And then the reveal of where they were at.
I think it was JQ said earlier, the setting, though, was kind of like, I know it's Yavin 4, but we've seen a lot of jungle planets, I guess kind of even the setting versus like the wheat fields, which was beautiful.
It was. Rebels
and
feeling.
Then the cold, you got the cold white Coruscant,
but
also the cold white Imperial, that planet, that mountain that they went to on Bad Batch, I think.
Yep. I forget
all those places are so stark, but the settings are beautiful. The mountain climbing, the beautiful, Chandrillan planet, and the customs was just beautiful. Yeah. Contrasted with another jungle place. We're just as Star Wars fans are kind of like, oh, this is kind of, we've seen this.
Yeah, I agree, because like every fan film is also in the jungle, basically, too, even ours. So
that's what I said. We could take ours and Brasky. By the way, somebody said Christina corrected. It was Wilman Pack was the kid. Did you already say that?
No, but
okay.
They were helping us out in the chat.
Thank you for helping us out, Wilman Pack.
Gonkers.
Cool. Gonkers always win, man.
Quick question here is: are we going to see Melshi this season? Asks Paul.
I think so. I think we're going to see Melshi. I think it'll be closer to the end. But I do think we're going to see Melshi in this. I think it'd be a kind of difficult not to, because of their relationship in Rogue One, and I think whenever we get to K2SO, I almost feel like they need to come in together.
Is Luke in the rebellion right now?
What, Luke? No, this is before. No, this is before episode BBY. 4.
This is for BBY.
Yeah. When was Luke involved?
Luke Skywalker?
Yeah.
At the
battle.
4, at the Battle of Yavin. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So he's just a punk kid. He's looking for power converters at this point, or he's
still just floating in. Yeah. Okay.
Or he's playing with his ship in the background. Obi-Wan's watching him.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let us know. Rank those arcs for me, guys, in the chat and in the comments below.
Yeah, I did a poll.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. Well,
But yeah, and if you're watching back later, tell us.
yeah, definitely.
And Oscar says the best part was the Star Wars rock paper scissors.
Yes.
It was hilarious. It really was.
All right, and right here we are going to figure out that game, and we're going to play that as a members only stream, or maybe just live on the stream at some point. We are going to play that game with everybody. It's going to be hilarious.
Yeah. And Luke would be 14. He corrected me as well, so thank you.
Yeah, he's pretty young.
Melshi's in the trailer, so yes. Also, he was in an interview with that special look interview that he did the long talk.
Yeah, why would you have him in there? If
Yeah,
be
so
in season 2 in some ways, but they were talking mostly about Andor season 1 for that.
Correct.
But yeah.
But I'm guessing, and then looks probably. Are we going to see Kino Loy? Probably not. He's busy. He's busy. He's busy with a Lord of the Rings project right now.
I hope I hope he comes back in, and this is my prediction for him. I hope he comes back, and I hope that he is running the logistics on Yavin 4, or he's running the logistics for some rebel group.
That would be incredible.
Or Andor's going to be like, they need somebody to run something or do something, or to be in charge of something, and Andor's like, I know the guy, and they find him because for how popular he was in season 1. It would
for
be
sure.
Unless it's forced. If it feels too forced and too gimmicky, I could see why they wouldn't include it.
But no, think about
dude. One way out. We need it.
Yeah, Gilroy's shirt in whatever interview. I think he is, again, he's playing like 10D chess on us. I think we're going to see him. I hope we do.
And I just realized that shirt was what Dave Filoni, like you were saying, Dan, I think you said this before. That shirt was what Dave Filoni did for Ahsoka. Didn't you say this?
Yeah.
You said it. You say it. I'm not going to say it.
No, I don't remember what I said.
Oh, okay. But
I remember that I said it.
Yeah, it's Ahsoka. He said he wore the Ahsoka Lives shirt. Remember? And you said that about his shirt. So Tony Gilroy pulled out the Narkina 5 swim team.
Yeah.
Basically stating, right,
that was kind of the Ahsoka Lives moment. It felt like Narkina 5 swim team. Okay, but KG's putting cold water on this. Speaking of water, doubt it. Kano, if he's alive, is busy taking swim lessons. Come on. I think he just needs some swim back to,
or he finds another way. There might be a ship that comes.
Maybe Melshi can go get him out.
I mean, there was a lot of prisoners.
Because Melshi was worried about how many others do you think got out? I don't know. Melshi, go find out and to bring him back to the rebellion. You know what I'm saying? They're all going to fight the Empire now. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Because they knew they needed to spread the story.
Yeah.
Even the planet where Brasso and Bix and Wilman Pack were on, a lot of the villagers, were on their side. They weren't on the Imperial side, despite the Imperial having a heavy presence or at least being a big threat.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's interesting because you see that from different planets though too. Because some planets, like even some wealthier planets, I guess you could say, they are like, they love the Empire for what it brings to them and the wealth it brings them, and then also the pride they can have their kids serve in the Empire. It becomes like this weird like hierarchy thing, or like elitism type move for the wealthier ones. But then the ones that don't talk back or that aren't quite as wealthy or offer as much to the Empire, they just feel the evil presence because they are just basically oppressing them. Yeah. So it's crazy to see that juxtaposition there.
I like this. I think Andy's coming back as another character.
Snoke. That's what he's saying. That's going to be Snoke.
If
he ties Snoke into this,
no, he's not signed to Snoke.
No, if
he doesn't care.
Don't tie it to the. Don't tie. If anything, don't tie it to the sequel trilogy. I don't think he would. I don't think he would either. But that would be pretty funny though. I mean, I'd laugh if that happens. I'd be like, okay.
I don't know. I just know
I trust Tony to do it.
Oh man, I just know that the way that ended too, with the music, just peaking and like right at the edge, and she's still dancing, and then just dropped.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we're just like with headphones on, we're like,
yeah, we were like,
what just happened? It was like,
did the internet cut out?
Did I just go deaf?
Yeah, it was very weird. Hello? It was like a technical difficulty, but then you realized, then the credits came up, and then the music kind of rolled. It was like, what a tense way of finalizing that little arc, and basically leaving all of our characters in a bad place.
Yeah.
I don't know who was left in a good place other than Dedra, because she's got a chance at a promotion. She's got Cyril. She told his mom off. she's probably in the best place.
And Cyril's doing better now.
Cyril's doing okay. He's still conflicted.
Cyril.
He's got to
He's just constantly messed up.
he's got to grow up. But he's so funny. He is so funny. Is he a he's not a comic actor.
No.
But he's so
Such a dead
the way he
hand.
plays it so seriously makes it funny.
I think was it someone in the chat said, or I think even last night, that him laying on the bed was totally not scripted.
Yeah.
That was him
That was
as
him
the
just-
actor,
oh my
kind of winging it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
He's just playing it up. I mean,
They had fun with these roles. I think that's the thing I liked about him.
And it
Tony,
comes through.
yeah, it does. And Tony probably like pushed that. You know, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, when his mom said he was playing police officer. Police officer Moana.
Just
Who was doing
belittling
that?
him at every turn. Like that's rough. You know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's up, Iñaki joined us.
What's
How you
up,
doing, man?
Iñaki?
In the future there. Hope you're doing great, man. What do you
Alright.
think of the episodes?
Yeah, let us know. Also, we do need to talk a little bit there about the controversy. We haven't touched upon
All right.
it.
Mhm.
So
Well, I'm going to roll through this list of characters really quick as we finish out, and we'll get to the controversy as you see that character. Does that work?
yeah, that works.
All right. So you like Andor, right?
I think he was great in this.
Yeah.
I thought for sure he was going to shoot that chick in the beginning, though. Not going to lie. I thought he was
You thought he was going
kill
to
her.
do an Andor.
I thought he was going to do an Andor because, like, every other Andor that we've seen in the beginning, he kills someone immediately. That's like a spy or an informant, or it was those cops, you know, in season 1. So I
Yep.
was like, I was nervous for that chick. Man.
Yeah, I
I was
know.
like,
She was so nice. She was very helpful, and she put her
Yeah.
life on the line. It's all changing now.
and that was a great line. Even how she even knew the risks that she was taking, and
Yeah.
she was saying like, "Is it worth it?" You know, like some great lines delivered there.
Yeah.
That really brought it into perspective. You know, we were having fun with it, and then she says something like that, and we're like, "Oh, this
Yeah.
is really serious."
And I
So-
feel like Andor gave us some depth in that moment after Brasso died, and he got on the ship, and that look at his face as we were flying away.
Dude, yeah.
Broken, man. He's just broken.
He's trying to hold it together. Is
Yeah.
what's happening there.
Well, and kind of going back to his little
Great acting.
monologue at the very beginning with the lady in the Thai
Yep.
place.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what we were talking about. Yep.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Never mind.
No, we didn't. No, we didn't go into this. So you say
Oh,
what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was asking if it's worth it, and
Yeah, right,
He
right.
encouraged her, and then in the end of this arc, was he asking himself if it was worth it?
That's a good point. That's a really good point. It kind of full circle in some ways, a
Yeah.
bookend.
Yeah.
And you know, even what Tony said in the beginning of this, and what a lot of people, or even Diego Luna was saying, that in the first one, we just see the first season, we see him just becoming a rebel, joining the rebellion,
Mhm.
and then in this one, we have to see him develop into the leader. And
Yeah.
I felt like that first scene showed him being a leader and not just a spy. You know.
Yeah.
So it was, and looking out for himself. He was actually looking out for the greater good. He's concerned about others, not just himself, like in the beginning of the first season. So I do like his arc so far. It was funny how he had to deal with like the dudes, and he was just like, "This is so dumb."
Yeah.
Like he was just annoyed by them all. But
He wasn't a great leader in those moments, but he was also imprisoned. So
the
what
problem
can
is
you
he
do?
doesn't know how to talk to people still. In some ways, you're like, dude,
Sure.
like play it out, like appeal to the other side. Don't be such a jerk to everybody.
Who are
Yeah.
you talking about?
Andor to
Oh.
the Maya
Lost
Pay
Boys.
or whatever, the Lost Boys. I don't
Yeah.
know why I keep trying to say their name.
Glad he was a little hard, heavy-handed on that.
Yeah, it was cool to see him flying though. Although he learned every way not to fly the ship before he learned how to fly the ship.
yeah, and then he hot-wired the thing to try to get the
the communicator to work.
whatever it was. I don't know. I mean, when the ship kind of spiraled
Yeah,
out,
that
was
was
that what it
funny.
was doing?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was trying to get the communication.
Yeah, and they're like flew like crazy. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, my hyperdrive's working.
That was
All right, the next character, of course, this is alphabetical order, just so you know.
Oh,
Wow,
Andor B2,
that's a Danism right there.
and I feel like we got a good amount of B2, but
Yeah.
at the same time, we
Yeah.
want to see a little bit more.
Yeah,
We
for
wa-
sure.
We need him to talk to Cassian
I wanna
because
see
he's always worried about
closure.
Cassian.
Yeah.
I want to see him do something heroic with Cassian.
That would
Like
be
I want to
awesome.
see B2 by the end of this have like a heroic moment.
Does he go out at the end, and that's when K2 comes
dude.
in to replace him?
Oh, maybe he might be done at this. We might not ever see him again after this. I gotta be honest.
I'm worried about that, but I that would just be such a
Droids
shame.
never die.
No, they don't die,
They don't
but
die,
we might
but
not see
we
him
might
again.
not see him. It might just be bye bye. You know.
Yeah.
B2 go bye-bye.
B2 go bye bye. I don't know. There wasn't enough of him to see. He was still cute.
Yeah.
Still like the dog, the loving dog.
I
the-
think we
but-
want more.
Yeah,
we
we
want
definitely
more.
want more. So
Yeah.
All right. And then next we got Bix.
Bix. Okay.
So this is where some controversy happened,
This
not
is the
because of
controversy.
Bix necessarily, but at the same time, it was in the script of Bix.
Yeah. So difficult subject matter to talk about. But in the beginning, I did like the arc. It made sense for her and where she was coming from, that she still has some nightmares, that she's still troubled. You can see it. You can see it in her face, but she still believes in Andor. And that's her thing. She's like, Andor will show up. The whole time she kept reminding everybody, he'll be here. He'll be here. It was just the controversy, though, was in what the dirty Imperial guy was trying to do to her. Very adult nature, and the fact that they even had to imply it, and she said the word. I think the thing that went over the top even more so is that she said the word. Obviously, the whole thing was terrible. I do feel like you didn't need to necessarily show that. I don't think
Show it or say it.
Both. I mean, I think if you showed it, but very minimally. Like they went a little long with it. I feel like, and they were really trying to build the tension. And I understand why they did it, because it did make us all feel uncomfortable. We were all like, nah, I don't want to see this. No. Like, but on the flip side, there was the satisfaction of her destroying the dude. So he got his comeuppance. He did not get what he wanted, and that was a satisfying nature of it, and we understand how dirty and sleazy the Empire can be. And that just, again, solidified for us in the show in the first 3 episodes that the Empire, they're disgusting pigs.
The Empire
wartime,
cannot win.
No, exactly.
It's in the first line of this thing. It was literally like the first line of the show.
Dan.
Yeah,
maybe it was the second line.
Wow.
Okay. Close enough.
Close enough in the beginning. But so I'm on the fence with it. I understand what they were going for, but I don't think it was necessarily needed.
Yeah.
Now, am I upset about it? Like everybody, that some people, not everybody, some people. And again, if your opinion is different than us, that's totally fine, and we respect your opinion. And that's why I'm kind of seeing both sides on this one. It was not enough for me to take me out. It reminded me of so many, again, World War II movies in which this stuff happened. Yeah. And they showed it, and you were just like, yes, own those evil dudes.
Yeah, they get what's coming to them.
They get what's coming.
On that,
so that's kind of my take on that. What about you, Dan?
Smart. No, I mean, hot take Hunter, her pledging him to unalive was my favorite part of the 3-episode arc.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that.
That's fair.
I mean, it was something that needed to happen after that. I mean,
Definitely.
Those guys could get away with crap or whatever.
Yeah.
And not here, not now. So I'm thankful that, at least in this sense, the evildoer got what was coming, and he just he's done. And it was violent. Yeah, it was definitely violent. This is the our PG-13 whatever, pushing the envelope that they're doing here with this more adult kind of Star Wars version. While we have the comedy or whatever of Cyril and Dedra, this is the opposite, and this is the heavy stuff that is. I think they didn't need to say the word, to be honest, as well. That
was kind of the point, because
I feel like
point.
That took us into, our world. But at the same time, that's what it was, and they called it like it was, and maybe that'll hit people in a way that, it needs to. I don't know why, but I could see that causing the controversy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is the controversy.
Right. And there's still dark things that have happened in Star Wars. And a lot of people are saying they're shocked and appalled by it. But I mean, there's slavery in Star Wars.
Right.
And there's implications in that. There's
certain words that you
so many things.
Yeah,
but they don't say the words.
Yeah.
And I think that was the moment the moment that they did cross the line. And you kind of had a good point
just questions
earlier though about it though, where her saying that, I mean, still made sense. Because if somebody was trying to unalive you, I mean, and you say that person was trying to unalive me, like obviously you don't want them not to have to say that in some way. So you're
just calling what happened in a moment of trauma and shock.
Right.
And so you can't blame the victim of saying, calling it out. I mean, it's like, hey, whoa, I just survived here. Right. This is crazy. This is insane. Like the guy, because was she saying that to the other Imperial officer who was like, come out with your hands up? Yeah,
and she said it to him.
That's what it was, because she was trying to be like, maybe.
But then even he was like, yeah, but he's unalived.
right. Maybe she was trying to get some kind of grace or something, but it was tough.
Yeah, it was.
I'll be honest, the episode probably should have been TVMA or maybe stretching 14.
There's most.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong. What, isn't it TV-14?
Yeah, it is TV-14.
It's-
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe stretching TV-14. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying there.
yep.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't show
'Cause-
anything technically.
Mhm.
I think and there was no swear word or anything like that.
Right.
So I understand why they put TV-14.
Right.
But
These sorts of things are alluded to in the Return of the Jedi, Jabba Palace.
Mm-hmm.
With the
Alluded
slaves,
to
yeah, I mean,
loosely.
definitely for
Yeah.
sure that is there and implied.
Yeah.
So, but they didn't go so far to say the bad things.
Well,
you
even
know?
in Rebels, there was kind of
And
a
it was
weird.
quick.
Yeah, there was a weird arc where Hera had to dress up like a Twi'lek, kind of
Dancer.
assistant, kind. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she dressed up to play the part of a Twi'lek being sold to
Oh, I see.
one of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
huts or one of the
Right.
kind of skeezy bad guys, and it was just kind of. Yeah, I'm saying like that kind of stuff is there even in Rebels, So it's not like I'm not saying I don't like that part in
Right.
it, but it is there are bad seedy people that do bad seedy things, and the Imperials are not excused from that level of seedy things. You know what I'm saying? They're not just there to have a heavy hand. No, they're gonna
Right.
beat up the people. They're gonna take advantage of them at every turn. They're gonna lie to them, make us food, do this. Just
Right.
very similar to, like you said, the World War II style oppression,
Atrocities.
subjugation,
Mm-hmm.
and worse. Like, you're not
Yeah.
human. We're the Empire. You're
Pretty
not
much.
human.
Yeah.
We're gonna do
You're
whatever
less
we want.
than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so as a rebel, you're like, okay, if that's how you're gonna treat me, we're gonna fight back, and we're gonna do what we got to do.
You
And
should.
thank goodness Bix got her moment to fight back and give him what he deserved,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because we were all cheering.
And in some ways, I see KG here says, I think most 14-year-olds are aware of what that is. And to an extent, yes. And also, I'm not saying, okay, this is a tough one because as a parent, you have the responsibility to warn and teach your children. And it's the challenging part is at what age do you have these conversations?
Mm-hmm.
I think 14 is getting pretty close to that age, if not the right age in some ways to warn your children. You don't have to go into detail or anything horrible, but to be aware of situations that you don't want to be in, to avoid these things.
Yeah.
And I personally believe it's better to discuss these things with your children from a safe place in your home,
Mm-hmm.
so that someone else isn't telling them that might not be the best way to do it. So again, that's why TV-14, it's tough though. I still, in Star Wars, it still feels not right in a lot of ways, but
Because there's other words that if you said in the Star Wars universe, you would be like, is that a Star Wars thing or is that our thing?
right.
Like, there's been other dialogue, you know what I'm saying? Not like heavy words, but there's just other dialogue that, like, I don't think that belongs to Star, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they cross over or they don't match,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I have a little bit different take.
Good.
I agree
it's
with
fine.
what you're saying overall for sure, and definitely didn't like it. But the word didn't bother me at all. It's not a bad word. And like you said, she was saying what almost happened to her in shock and, just shock of it happening so quickly. And then she killed him, justifiably too. But overall, it to me, it just showed that the Empire really is that bad. And so many times in shows and movies, and even in Star Wars, it drives me nuts how the bad guys are given that redemption arc. And in this series and in this show, they don't deserve it. Even as much as I'm on the Dedra and Sierra train,
Right.
train,
That's the
they're
odd
still bad. I
oddity.
still see the evil there.
Yep,
And
yep.
So we can have fun with it, but making things real with using words like that, to me, it wasn't a problem. But I get the whole controversy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, for sure. That's a good
Okay.
take. No, that's totally fair. And everybody else's opinions out there is fair as well. And we're glad you had a different take on it. That makes sense.
It would be sad if people turned away the show because of that. Or maybe
Yeah,
would it be
yeah.
sad? Would it be, or would
I
you
wouldn't get it.
just give them the
Mhm.
space? I don't know. That's where it comes to.
Sure.
Like, are we going to bash the show because they did that? And to the point where we're like, nobody should watch this because of that. I know some people have already said that. Some big YouTubers,
Yeah.
of course, we talked about it last week or the week
Right.
before. So it's, I don't know if it's that far. If
we're calling them out here. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, and we want to cause a controversy.
No, we do not.
Views.
We are not looking for controversy.
No, but we just disagree with that. I don't think it's something that should destroy the entire reputation of the show. I think it went a little far, but at the same time, from our perspective, it's uncomfortable. But maybe sometimes you need to be uncomfortable to learn and grow.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's a great. Yes.
If things are comfortable all the time, you're just going to be casual and whatever. You're not going to learn anything. So
yeah,
that's all I'm going to say about that.
That's a great point, man. And I think some of those YouTubers that are coming at it from the others, I think they just disliked. I think they're at a point. You have to sit back and examine yourself at some point. And that's how I went into a monologue last night about it, and I won't redo it here, but you got to sit back and examine where are you coming from and why do you dislike something? Is it justifiable? Like for us, we always, even if we don't love something, we try to give it the light of day as much as possible. And we will watch it through till the end to make sure that nothing changes, because who knows how that's going to do. And some people, I think, were just so turned off that they didn't even watch the rest of it. And then they still just dislike it. But why did they dislike it in the first place? I know most of the people are saying it's because it doesn't feel like it's Star Wars to them. And what I want to say to that is I feel like you're narrowing, you're putting Star Wars in a box in some ways whenever you do that. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying in my personal opinion, Star Wars can be more. If we don't want Star Wars, obviously I want the original Star Wars. I want the core feeling of Star Wars to always be there. But like I've always said, I want different genres in Star Wars. And those genres aren't always going to feel exactly like the original Star Wars, if you guys know what I mean.
They shouldn't, otherwise you're just watching the same thing over and over again. Nothing wrong with that.
Right. Nothing wrong with that.
I eat the same thing every day for breakfast.
Right. But then you're not growing. You're not experiencing new things. And Star Wars is such a massive galaxy that we can experience all these different things in Star Wars. And I understand where people are coming from, because a lot of people believe that Star Wars is a fairy tale and that it is for kids and growing up. And I don't want to lose that. And I think that still needs to be there.
No, I agree. And especially in the theater, the movie theater.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's where the family goes. I think sometimes in the TV space, because there's certain TV shows that the parents watch, there's certain shows that the kids watch, and there's certain shows that we watch as a family. And I think all in all, Star Wars does belong in the space of the whole family. That's why multi-generations can enjoy it.
Yeah.
But like you said, it can dip into the worlds that only the adults should watch this one.
Yeah.
They can dip into the space. They've been there long enough where just the little kids can watch it. And the adults are like, oh my goodness, why are the characters changing their mind every 5 seconds? This is annoying.
Right.
To the point where you're just driving you crazy, or the kids are getting away with stuff. Omega. And then
Shots fired.
Here we are. And so I think Andor on the TV, it's okay to push things.
Well,
maybe this is the medium for the TV.
Yeah.
And they do away with all the lighthearted stuff on TV or something, and they just bring, I don't know.
Well, and how do you make an interesting TV? TV shows are so much more based on character growth, development, and intrigue.
That's what Clone Wars was.
Yeah, TV shows are. But Clone Wars did a great job of going into that, but also keeping with the kind of original feel. But there were some darker moments in Clone Wars like this in a lot of ways. Some heavy stuff, people dying, some real weight that taught you as a kid in some ways. But for this show, I'll be honest, I look forward to the day that my kids are adults and they experience watching Andor and enjoy it like I did, and when they're adults, when they're old enough to watch it.
Yeah,
I think because you're going to get to a point in Star Wars where you want some other content, and then you get the adult side of Star Wars. Now, I'm not saying like adult bad stuff, but I'm saying
But it's like that with every show, right? If you're going to show your kids anything, and there's something in it that may be pushing the envelope of what they've seen or experienced, it doesn't matter what genre it is, that's going to inspire conversation.
Yeah.
So the family shows typically are something that don't inspire like super deep conversations where you have to sit there and explain, okay, this isn't something we would approve of. Look how bad that person, you know what I'm saying? Because if kids watch this is the content. If they watch things that like twist their mind in a wrong way that you would try to have them go as a parent, that's why bad things. I don't know. If you're not watching what they're watching and they're getting into
gotta
stuff.
Monitor it.
What's that?
Got to monitor it.
Yeah, you got to
as a parent.
As a parent, that's
Yeah.
that's your job, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
that is your job. And so we're responsible for our children, and that's what you get. So when you watch something like this or any genre, you're going to explain. You're going to take 5 minutes. And so when your kids are old enough, we can show them this. TV 14 sounds about right. I mean, it's not for a government agency to tell me what age my kid has to be to watch something if I feel like I've trained them to be what I want them to be at a certain age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's certain laws that are in place, of course, for
reasons.
certain things, and that's good. I'm glad that general rules are applying. But yeah, I mean, in general, like it's just you need to be a parent with your kid, and if you're gonna show this to kids, this is what drives me crazy about content creators. Is they're like, that's for kids, that's not for kids. And so they're like, and then they blur the lines. They're like, well, it's rated this because it just goes over the line, but not far enough.
Criteria.
They're like PG-13 now in the movies could be a lot of things. Yeah. It's been a lot of things for like 30 years. It's like, wow, that's a hard PG-13 or that's you know what I mean? A very, very light-hearted PG-13. Or, you know what I'm saying? So you got to watch out for what you're watching anyway in the theater. Too violent. Too much gore, too much language, too much whatever. And this show, as a more adult show, it's been established, is you just gotta be careful. But I think there's just a lot of good stuff that the kids would like. I think.
Agreed.
I don't know.
Yeah, my thought earlier today was, given a few years like down the road, like when your kids are old enough to watch this, they're gonna see it maybe different than some people are seeing it now. Like we're enjoying overall Andor and this storytelling of the rise of the rebellion, basically. Some people obviously aren't enjoying it, but I feel like we're watching history change in the Star Wars universe and maybe in the fandom, because hopefully down the road, I might be too hopeful here, but
we're always hopeful.
Yeah, maybe they'll look back a bit more fondly at all of this and the dynamic changes that are occurring.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. You guys said it right there. That makes total sense. I think we summed up our opinions on the controversy there, and just
had to be addressed,
and just the limiting factor. I feel like of some people putting Star Wars in a box, but I don't know. But it's also just where people are coming from. I think that's what it comes down to. Some people don't like how much they spent for the show. Some people don't like what the creator said about Star Wars. Some people don't like the fact that Andor came out after Obi-Wan and Boba Fett, and they were so done with Star Wars at that point that they just disliked it.
Yeah,
because Disney made it, and all of these things are fair and valid. That's the thing. No, it's your opinion. That's we can all have these opinions. Yes. I guess for us though, we try to always give everything the most fair shake we can. And what I said in the monologue last night was, no, I'm gonna forget it. Was oh man, I just lost it. Dang it.
Well, pretty much. Don't shut down.
Help me.
Well, I don't remember exactly what you said, but don't shut down conversation or just not listen to each other because you disagree. You've got to still be able to have conversations and to talk with a difference of opinions. That's okay. Don't just jump in and out and be so, I don't know, so boxed off yourself. Right. That's not the right word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think what I was gonna say, I'm losing it again. Oh my gosh, I can't hold it in. I'm going crazy. No, it's just basically wow, this is bad. This is a bad one for me. Anyway, you guys know what we're talking about. If you want to know for sure, you can watch the stream last night. We do need to keep moving here. Let's finish going.
The last couple of characters, we already addressed him. Brasso, and he was awesome, and we're going to remember him fondly.
We will. I know. I think justice for Brasso in some ways.
And what
memorial? We should have a memorial service.
What percentage he's alive?
Oh, I think it's like 5.
5? That's higher than I thought.
1.
Okay.
That's what you were thinking?
That's the right answer.
1%. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's done.
All right. Alphabetical order. We've got Dedra.
Okay.
She's falling in love. That's all you need to know. Things are going to change, I think, with Dedra.
To me, she's the Terminator, man. She's the Terminator that found her heart in some ways. Cyril,
that's what you're hoping for.
Cyril is her heart,
Yeah.
It's a weird
thing, but I mean, it's like
her heart grew 3 times that day, like the Grinch.
I don't know. I really find her fascinating as a character, and it's weird from even what we were saying, fact checker, on how we dislike the Empire so much,
Including her.
and we dislike her really. I mean, what she did to Bix and to a lot of people out there, an oppressor, but you can also understand where she's coming from because that's literally all she's known her entire life, and she's striving to be the best in the world that she can be. So,
Yep. And I feel like
that's
she's
what's tough about her.
She's so talented.
At
But
being
you-
bad.
But you know what I'm saying? But because she was raised in that environment, she just needs to use her talents for good.
That would be awesome.
Some people, they go down the wrong trail and they're so talented, but they're in the wrong space. And I feel like Dedra needs to find a better path and put her talents to something that's really going to advance her career, because she's not getting anywhere in the Empire other than now she's got this Gorman thing, but she's not even happy with it. She's failed to find, Andor, and she
Right.
just keeps going backwards. Well, she found Cyril. Maybe she's going to find other things in her life
Yeah.
that make things better, like when the baby comes around
Oh.
and the family, and she's like, hey, we're going to do this thing, and now I'm sick and tired of chasing and murdering and assassinating and blah, blah, blah. I can't say
Right.
these words.
And it's just crazy how Tony is both making the Empire out to be the worst villain ever and also humanizing people in the
Exactly.
Empire
He's
at the
very-
same time. You're like, dude,
Well, they did it with Callus.
yeah,
They did it with Callus. I don't know.
Lost
why.
Stars, I think, is the other one. that we
Lost
were talking about.
Stars,
There's a lot.
yeah.
There's some out there, and even Finn in some ways.
There's a lot of funny Imperial, stormtroopers
Oh yeah, always.
that always have just a little bit of like they can't shoot on
Right.
Mandalorian.
But so far, she's great and fantastic,
Uh-huh.
and so Imperial for the moment. She was just standing at the window listening to music. I think
Yeah.
someone said earlier the way that they wrote, which I thought was a great line. I want to comment on it. Was the way that they wrote her and Krennic together made them want to see Tony Gilroy write Thrawn. I agree with that statement. I
Yeah.
100% agree with that statement. The only thing with him and Thrawn that I think you need to do, you let Tony write Thrawn, you're going to get a sophisticated, a smart, cunning Thrawn, the Thrawn we want, but you just got to have Dave in there with him to tone it back just a little bit. Don't let him go over the top with things. But you would, that's perfect in my opinion. That would actually be the perfect intrigue and the right person to write Thrawn in live action.
Mm-hmm. You know, what would be the
great
perfect
point,
writer for
100%.
Thrawn was the guy who wrote Thrawn the trilogy.
Well,
It's
yeah.
like, get the guy, man.
That's
Just get.
true.
These are writers. That's all
Yes.
they do. They go deep. If you can get somebody like Gilroy, who's an incredible writer and producer here, and story creator, get somebody good, and let Filoni sit back and not write Thrawn. I mean, he did okay job in Rebels. I felt like he was pretty accurate, more accurate. But in live action, we need some heavier stuff. We
Yeah,
don't need
Timothy Zahn says.
Yes.
Yeah, Timothy Zahn is the one who
Thank
wrote
you,
the Thrawn trilogy, and dude, he is a legend. in my opinion.
That's for sure.
Wrote a way better trilogy, or way better sequel.
Yeah, they
Anyway.
wouldn't give us Din and Bo. They were willing to give us Cyril and Dedra.
Yeah,
Well, different writers, different people, different setup.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
some dang stormtrooper good enough aim for Brasso.
I think what happened there was they were trying to aim, but then Andor actually messed up their aim and helped fix it when he was shooting at him. So in a way, it's Andor's fault that the stormtroopers shot Brasso.
Oh,
Oh,
No,
wow.
that's horrible. That's a horrible take. But
give him more guilt.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
He's always
your
5.
fault,
He's
man.
always 5 minutes too late. He was 5 minutes too late for Marva. He was 5 minutes too late for
His sister,
his sister. He was 5 minutes too late.
for
Come on,
Brasso.
Andor. Set your alarm clock and get up on time.
dude. Come on, be better. Do
An-
better.
Andor, you've got a long way to go, but at least he does
Things.
things. He helps get the thing going on Scarif, whatever
Right.
that was.
Oh yeah. That's true. He was kind of the leader. of that
Kleya
rebellion.
is the next alphabetical.
Ooh, yeah.
She's an interesting character.
She is like, I don't like her, but kind of like her at the same time. And I've heard other people online say that have seen the whole show
Okay.
say that she was one of their favorite characters for the whole
Interesting.
thing. And I could see that because I just don't like the hard time she gives Luthen in some ways. It's kind of snarky to me, and I'm just like, dude, why you got to be such a jerk to him? But I mean, I guess I understand in some ways. He's pushing her. He's pushing things. He wants things to be done.
Right.
But and she's working extremely hard, but she's better than almost anybody else when it comes to playing the role that she's supposed to play. Because she's the one reminding everybody else, oh, remember, we already met. So it's not weird that we're talking right now whenever she was talking to the other chick that I don't care about. But yeah. Yeah, so that was interesting.
Kleya. And then her and Luthen's relationship is interesting. I thought they were an item, and then somebody mentioned something about how she's single.
Yeah. Well, and that's I hope
whatever that is.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like I thought she was with Luthen or something. Or I don't know. But she's interesting, and I think she's doing a good job. She clearly brings the gravitas to her character.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating how she's weaving in and out in so much in the rebellion, being the communicator, basically.
Yeah.
She's doing the tech work for Luthen, who clearly doesn't know how to do tech. Although he does, he's got that ship, but he's got the robot that does everything on the ship.
But he has a different role. Everybody has a different role to play.
Yeah.
And her role, she's very technical, so it makes sense. But I thought she did great in this episode. Even last season, I thought she was great. She was the one who was staying on target more than anybody else, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, she knew the rules, and she was trying to make sure everybody else was following those rules. Even Luthen, she's calling him out. She's definitely a kind of person that you want by your side in this situation. So cool. I think she's doing a great job. I can't wait to see where they go with her. I hope they don't go down a weird path with her. I'm a little nervous with that, but if they do, I'll call it how I see it.
Okay, and to follow that up alphabetically, we got Luthen himself.
This image to me reminds me for some reason of Scrooge.
Now I want to see him in
Marley
the remake of the
Marley.
Scrooge.
I don't know.
That's
Something
hilarious.
about that makes me think of Scrooge.
This is back in his cave, back in his. We haven't seen him back on Coruscant yet, so
right.
This is what it was in the trailer. It was like, I don't think this is from the wedding.
Yeah.
Or the party.
Yeah, he does not look very happy here. But Luthen, man, one of my favorite characters from the first season. He is not disappointing in this season so far. I don't think they've given him a lot of time to shine. But the limited amount of time we've got with Luthen, for me, is on point.
And the walking. I mean, the sneaky walking.
That's a good point.
Action is not his strong suit, but flying a ship and blowing people up, fine.
But the way he plays people, though, too, and the way he understands, and he is the observer. He is the master tactician.
Yeah.
He's almost like the grumpy Thrawn of the rebellion in some ways.
Exactly.
Not exactly, obviously.
Here we
go. Scrooge McRebel. Yes, I love that KG.
So good.
Oh, my goodness. But what do you think? Is he making it to the end, guys?
I don't think so, but he's made it farther than I thought. We were kind of surmising he might not make it out of the first arc.
Really? I thought he would make it through the first arc. I think, if anything, he's going to go at the end because he's one of the biggest through lines of the whole show so far.
Well,
he's the one who recruits Andor.
The rebellion hasn't
He's Axis.
started exactly yet. Like, there's still work to be done.
All right. Well, he's like, you got to look like a leader, blah, blah, blah. I figured he was going to be like handing the torch,
Yeah.
Because that's what happens. You're like, well, if only we had Luthen. Well, Luthen's gone. You got to figure it out now. That's what happens when you're just get somebody that knows what the heck they're doing, and then they're just wiped out
Right.
like Obi-Wan to Luke.
Because of Obi-Wan.
He just leaves him.
Right.
But Obi-Wan, he's like, it's okay. I'll talk to you in the clouds, bro.
Yeah, peace.
By the way,
I like
I have a
Luthen.
sister.
I think he's gonna be. I think we're gonna get some epic monologues again from him.
All right, now this is probably the best character for me in the first 3 episodes, honestly, as far as acting goes.
Yeah, acting wise.
Would you agree?
Yeah, she delivered so much nuance.
Mm-hmm.
I think she had the most difficult job in this entire show so far when it comes to acting, especially.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
I think she really brought it, and you can tell she loves it. At Celebration and all the interviews that she did, she's like loving it, and she feels like she delivered, and she knows that she did a good job. And of course, she was talking about the costumes and the wedding gown, and that they spared no expense. So the cool thing is that we know she makes it. So all of the hardship that she goes through makes her what she is in the next stuff.
Right.
But who was Mon looking at there? Says KG.
Oh yeah, who was that? Was she looking at
Tay? I think.
Was it Tay or was it Lita?
Or was it Perrin?
No, I think it was Lita. I think.
Was it
I don't
Peregrine
really know for
Took?
sure. Peregrine Took.
I don't
You
know,
fool of a
but
took.
that view of her, it
Yeah,
reminds me of the Mona Lisa.
Oh, the Mona Lisa.
Like there's-
Mona Lisa.
There's depth to the Mona Lisa that we might not understand. Just
Yes.
as with Mon Mothma, she's got a lot hidden.
Yep. There's a lot going on there. Genevieve O'Reilly deserves an Emmy. I mean,
yes, they're
Yeah.
calling it now. I think she
See,
does, dude.
what is an Emmy worth to Star Wars? 600 mil?
Right?
That's the kind of accolades you need if you're creating content online
That's the
to bring like class to your your
Dude,
stuff.
That's the kind of stuff that will attract
Talent
and stars.
on target.
Yeah, talent on target, baby. Yeah. But that's exactly what will Dan. Sorry, I'm pointing my gun at you.
Yeah, wait.
Sorry.
Is that thing on safety?
It's on stun. He said stun. But yeah, I think that's what attracts talent, and winning stuff like that means that, like, because a lot of actors see Star Wars, I feel like, as not as serious, not they might see money, dollar signs.
Oh, yeah.
Not nowadays, I don't think. Actually,
Some of them.
if I was an actor, I'd probably stay a heck away from Star Wars with the leadership in it as it is right now. Now, if it's under different leadership and there's different things, heck yeah. It doesn't matter. Right now, I want to be in Star Wars no matter what. I would be happy. There was like one dude who said something like dumb in the Lost Boys where he's like, "Is there any food up here?" I was like, I'd be happy if I was that dude. That was the worst part of it, but I was like, he was funny enough. I just want to be a background character walking through who gets owned, gets eaten or something.
Exactly.
But anyway, I digress. I'm sorry, but
can't blame her for
definitely-
talking about the costuming. Usually can't stand
Yes.
it if
Oh, I didn't
that's
talk
all
about
the
that.
women talk about, but it makes sense here. The Chandrilla clothes were amazing. Yeah.
yeah, and the
true.
scenery on Chandrilla,
It was so
the
cool.
sets, dude, were epic.
That's the
big,
kind of
looked
stuff
amazing.
that inspires your imagination.
yes,
And you know what I'm saying? This is why Star Wars is so fun, because the world building
Yeah.
that was done in these 3 episodes, showing you Chandrilla, showing you whatever the planet was with the wheat fields, showing the beautiful. It's like, dang, and now when I make a fan film, I want it to look like that. Or when I
Yeah.
draw a picture of my characters on a thing, I want it to be there. You know, when I create
Right.
a movie, I want it to it's just the best of all worlds. Like when you have such talent in the sets, and it's obviously so much work to create that
yes,
stuff.
dude.
Yeah.
the amount
So
of
you're like, I
time.
want to do that. You're like, well, you have to have a team of 4,000 people working all night for a year, and you'll get that, which
Yeah.
equals $1 million or 2 or 10 or 20. You know what I mean? So we can't get this stuff without that kind of high quality workers, and they deserve the credit
Budget.
and the budget. They need the dough.
And even piggybacking off that in some ways, the set design also on Chandrilla was so like Akira Kurosawa mixed with Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that was what I got. I
That's
was
a
just
good-
like, this is
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings and Akira Kurosawa, like Japanese, and it fit. It made sense in Star Wars to me, but it was also fleshed out as a
Yeah.
society. Like he didn't just like give you like a room here or this there. It was like, no, there was so much going on, people walking in the background, the evolving sets, the doors from one scene to the next. I was like, man, there's depth. There's depth there in just the scenery. And
Yeah.
that's what I love. He fleshes out so much. Tony Gilroy, no expense was spared, really, in this. And I love that they did it. It was money well spent, in my opinion, on
you
how they
mean-
immersed you.
Not Tony. Tony did it. Jack did it, right?
What?
Jack Sparrow.
Oh.
There's so
Jack's-
much depth. Johnny Depth.
Oh, I was like, what joke are you pulling here? Because I'm not.
I said it yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah,
I missed
yeah.
it. I'm
But
so sorry.
I was like trying to step
I'm
you,
so
but
sorry.
I
I
was
was
trying to say how,
I was like, all deer in the headlights there. I was like, what just
No.
happened? I don't
that was
know.
a that
I'm
was
sorry.
a big stretch. But as soon as you said
I
depth,
sh-
all I think
I
of is
should've.
Johnny Depth.
Every time. That's fair. That's totally fair.
It's a problem. It's a problem. I'm seeing my therapist.
But hey, at least he paid respect, is what I'm saying. At least he's paying respect to George Lucas in that way, with the scenery
Yeah.
and with the inspirations. So there is still definitely I still feel like he's respecting what came before and adding to it.
Yeah. Even
So-
though Bismo said he didn't like Star Wars.
Yeah, so
Sorry,
that's
yeah.
rough. I don't agree with that. I don't like that, but
Boo! Shun the non-believer.
but I think maybe because maybe it wasn't his style. It wasn't his take.
Yeah,
there
no,
might be more to that statement. I don't know. I haven't actually.
I think
listened
you're
to it.
right. I think there's more to maybe he was a Trekkie. Maybe he was he appreciated the other things, and
That's blasphemy. No, I'm just joking.
I don't know. Maybe he
I'm
loved,
totally joking.
but clearly he knows how to write a story. He knows how to write a
Yeah.
character, and we're thankful that he's able to do this. As Bix said in the interview, what was it? It's a great story, and it just happens to take place in a galaxy far, far away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very true. And that's what's turning people off from Star Wars, but also why we are loving it at the same time. And I can't wait to see Mon Mothma become the leader that she needs to be for the rebellion. And the heartache she's going through to get there is what we're seeing.
The leader.
She's going to lead up.
The leader.
Lead up.
Her daughter.
Yep. I like where your head's at.
Nope.
Johnny Depp. Bad jokes all night.
Speaking of somebody we never saw.
Seesaw!
We'll skip this guy. We
we
haven't seen him yet. We haven't even talked about him.
I can't wait to see him, though, because he had some fantastic lines.
He's the last main trailer character, I think, that we haven't seen. Yeah. I was looking for all the trailer shots, and we saw 75% of them already.
Okay,
You're right here. Ready to fight.
Maybe 85%. Yeah, so there's something to come. Maybe it's in the next arc. I don't know.
KJ says, I want to photograph a Chandrilan wedding. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you should.
That would be
I
awesome.
bet it pays really well, and
would be high pressure.
Dude, can you imagine?
Might be high pressure.
Can you imagine like a wing of that in like Chandrila in like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge?
Oh, that'd be
like
so
for
cool.
like you get to go to like a fancy dinner party on Chandrila with that kind of music.
That's
and
brilliant
stuff.
Yeah, I'm going.
That would be awesome. I would do that. That'd be fun.
And you got
ladies would love it. You get to dress up.
You got to get dressed up after 5 o'clock for dinner.
Yeah. Oh, Disney, you need to hire us. We would make you so much money, or waste your money, one or the other.
Well, they're already good at wasting their own money.
Yeah, you're already good at wasting money. You might as well have some good ideas along the way.
We're going to put it to good work.
Yep.
All right, and last but not least, the painful man himself, the pasty painful man. We didn't see this scene yet in the trailer where he was running at a flaming burnt up thing. Was that Gorman? I don't know. But he runs in in the first trailer. But there's clearly another explosion happening, and they're there at the same time, Andor and him.
What if Dedra eats it? And that's what he's looking at.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. I don't know, but
stop throwing these things out. This is.
I wish I could find it, but somebody way up the way in the chat said something about. I think it was take a break, maybe, about this. How many of these people make it onto the Death Star?
Yeah, that was a good point for sure. I think it was take a break.
Okay.
Wow.
You know, and that could be where they, at the end, they announced, we just got a new assignment. We're going to the thing they call the Death Star.
Oh, that's a good point.
And then the end of Tarkin, of Dedra and Cyril. Oh, you can surmise that's what happens.
That's definitely going to be the parallel here. You know, the rebellion, and obviously if you add in Krennic.
The parallel.
Wow, the parallel. Obviously if you add in Krennic, then you have to get some form of Death Star, and that's what he's even talking about in that whole cabal of people that was in that room. But that would make sense. You know what I'm getting now from this? I don't know if Dedra is necessarily going to die, but she might be in harm's way again in this. He doesn't know where she's going, but he figures out something without her. Then is going to try and warn her of something that's coming on Gorman. He might be experiencing the Gorman massacre. Might be what turns him to the rebellion. There's so many different things, so many different ways we could go here. So, and Demerkins is saying, I think he's definitely going to be on site for Gorman. Casey says, I gotta pee. Thanks for letting us know.
I think she's talking about, this is what his face says.
Okay, that makes sense. TMI, KG. No, I'm just joking.
KG's better than that.
I know, I'm joking. I'm sorry. I didn't even realize.
But no, it's definitely, something's going to happen between these two lovebirds. I think we're getting more cereal. I heard them say that in an interview.
They better. Okay.
Cereal's coming back. You know,
they don't sell a brand of cereal, Mirios. Like,
I want to have some Mirios.
We need to create that.
Yeah, or we definitely need to have a bowl
rich
of
off
something.
That. We can make well, no, because there's so much copyrights that we would have to fight.
The Mirios.
Disney, hire us. We got good ideas for cereal.
and we'll waste your money.
We'll waste your money, but at least it'll be funny. That's what really matters. Come on, people now. We did miss this, and I had so much fun in the live stream when we were watching along. KG says DJ Droid was fun. That was fun. We were like, that was DJ
fun.
Droid in the house.
Yeah,
reminds me of Parks and Rec. Have you ever seen that show, DJ Roomba? So funny, and I love that they kind of did that in this. So that was awesome. All right, so we made it through all the characters, and I think we've basically talked about everything. I'm looking forward to more cereal, though. Obviously, we all are. It's gonna be fun and hilarious and awkward.
Oh man, the last character
Oh.
I don't know. Somehow this picture made it in here. We haven't seen him
The
yet.
fancy Nick, the avocado king.
We'll catch him next week, maybe.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll be back. You know, he's still actually feeling the repercussions from the ice storm, which is crazy.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't even have internet at his house.
No, it's crazy.
What
kind of third world are we living
Dang
in
it,
here?
I thought about saying that, and then I stopped myself.
Is that rude? Okay.
I don't know.
Too soon?
I don't know.
I think
at this point he needs to get Starlink or something.
yeah, maybe we can all get him a Starlink.
Yeah, let's pitch in. All right, if you want to donate to Starlink Fund for Nick,
well, Hunter already helped us.
He already
with
helped
that,
us. He
so.
did. Yeah, we're gonna
Time
get it
for
to
us
him.
to-
So that's how we get him to come back.
Yeah, living in the dark ages. I think Dedra is going to be the one to order the massacre. He's going to witness it, realize he made a big mistake. Speaking of Stroll.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, and a bit much, but it was fun. The DJ.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys are so fun. You guys are so smart.
Yeah, exactly. You guys are fun, and I think we're just about done. That rhymed as well. You're welcome.
Hire us. Dustin can write rhymes.
You can write rhymes. No, that's Bismo. All right. Yeah, we got to get up on out of here. Is there anything else, though, that we want to chat about before we leave?
Yeah,
Fact checker.
I did a poll for the favorite arc, whatever. So let me end it real fast.
Arcs was correct.
Okay, good.
There were multiple arcs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't know if you were going to add to that. Or
Oh,
not.
no, sorry. I was ending
Awkward
it.
silence again.
Sorry.
No, that's
okay.
fine.
I also got a
It's a
filter.
live show.
What?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
He was thinking of something live.
Okay.
It comes to him.
Yeah, keep it in your mind. So 43% said the Chandrillan wedding in Luthen was their favorite.
Oh.
Wow.
Then next is Dedra. Then Brasso,
Sorry.
Bix, and Wilman Pack. And then
Okay.
Andor and the Lost Boys at the bottom.
That's so they said
Interesting.
What I said,
Very
basically.
similar to you, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was close-ish to that, but
Yeah, we were all close.
I think I reversed.
think I
a little
was-
bit.
Fact checker was totally wrong. But we're not
Oh,
gonna
wait,
say
there
that.
wasn't a right or wrong.
No, I've heard other
There is
people.
now.
Oh, man.
The
we
other
gotta have a
YouTuber
conversation.
that I
It's cold hard reality.
The other YouTuber that I watched picked that Bix and Ferrick's arc as the top.
Interesting. Okay.
So,
So that's
Yeah.
fair.
you're
Yeah,
not the only one.
See,
everybody's got their own
Dustin.
opinions. No, I'm not saying it was a bad arc. I still like the arc. I
Yeah.
put it as second,
Well,
third. I put it
I'm
as third.
offended.
Oh, wow.
I mean, just the point is, like, if this is the beginning, what are we going to get? Are we going to freak out at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? I don't know. The Narkina arc was the third arc last time. Are we going to get something? I heard the third arc's phenomenal.
Yeah.
How do they wrap
Well,
this up?
third arc was also phenomenal in season 1.
That's
so
what I said.
I'm
That was the
expecting-
Narkina.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
And how are we going to
How did I
wrap
miss
it? I don't know.
I was reading
But,
that. I just really had to pee by KG.
Yeah, I
That
and
made
then
me laugh.
And then you didn't see my shirt though.
Yeah, your shirt, dude. That shirt is
KG
awesome.
did ask for a better image of it earlier. So
Look at
perfect.
this. Andor. And is that Cyril?
Yep. No, it's Andor.
It's
Oh,
Andor, he said.
It looks like Cyril. It's Andor. Maybe think of Cyril though for some reason.
Oh, stop
And it
creeping.
looks like the
I like how his head's like.
yeah, it's the Death Star blowing up.
Oh no!
Yeah, I don't know. It's the wave of light coming at him from the nuclear radiation.
Wow, Dan.
Man,
I don't know. That's why I picked it.
that's
That's what my interpretation.
Okay.
It's art.
Each their own.
It's art.
I
But
love it.
you can find it online. It's selling not in our store, but at another more popular store
Yeah.
online. And I had to get. I just felt like I had to get something.
We might be dropping some
Andor art.
Andor merch here
Let's go.
soon, so stay tuned for that.
I don't know. Nothing like a fun shirt to
Yeah, it does. Yeah, that's
put
funny.
you in the mood.
We
of,
still got to get the Narkina 5 swim team, though. I do want to get
Yes.
that one. That one
Yes.
was hilarious. But they're loving it in the chat as well, Dan. You're looking good, man.
Thanks.
As always. that is an epic shirt, though, for sure.
Any of them, I know there's a lot of really good ones. The swim team one, I really want to.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's that kind of stuff, right? You eat the food, you buy the candy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had Mandalorian cereal stuff, I think, and
Yeah, a ton of
they
Mandalorian
pushed the Grogu stuff all over.
The Grogu merch, I think, was probably the best merch that Disney
Yeah.
But remember,
sold.
those were for kids.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
this is an adult show.
But if you go down the cereal
dark
aisle,
moments in Mando.
you
too,
see a
really.
face
Wow.
of cereal
Yeah.
on the cereal box.
He
That'd
cut
be
a,
hilarious.
He cut a dude in half, Mando did in the first episode.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
for kids.
Sorry. But yeah, you see Mando and Grogu stuff all over them.
We need some cereals.
Yeah.
Make the Mirios, says
Make
KG.
the Mirio, says KG. I think that's what we can conclude tonight.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way to put a bow tie on it.
A bow, flipping tie. So thank you guys for being here with us tonight. We had a lot of fun chatting all things Andor Season 2. Were we right? Were we wrong? Does it matter? Do we all have opinions? Let us know in the comments below what you thought and in the chat as well. Thank you, Gonkers, for being here tonight with us. And thank you if you're watching this back later, if you've made it this far. Wow, what a legend you are. And we hope you enjoyed the conversation and had fun talking with us. We'll be back same time, same place next week. Actually, no, live stream is going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday. What's the date, fact checker? Hit me up here on that actual day.
Is coming quickly.
Sorry. That laugh was terrible. I'm sorry.
Okay, April 29th.
April 29th. All right, we're going to be back April 29th.
For a watch
along, live watch along of the 4, 5, and 6 arc of Andor Season 2. It's going to be great. Don't forget, we also have War of the Cosmic Tyrants, all live now. Episodes 1 through 5 are live. If you haven't listened to them, like I said, it's a great time. You're going to have fun. They're a little long, but I think you'll enjoy the story and the humor involved. And we have lots of other things going on. Videos are dropping left and right here. And if you haven't watched the Escape from Narkina 5, I just have to plug that one more time because that, to me, is probably some of the best work we've ever done here on Stand Target for this channel.
Yeah.
We had so much fun making it. Dan killed it with the edit.
If you guys get a chance and you haven't seen the Narkina, go watch it. It's a fun time. Nick and Dustin are brilliant.
Dan's
and it's
brilliant.
a lot of fun. I also like how the questions, without spoiling it, as you go along, you did try to make them harder.
Yeah.
But it almost reminded me of a Monty Python, like, what's the airspeed of a blah, 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 swallow, you know?
What's the unleaded?
By the end, I was like, who knows this detail? It's such a random, the last question was like, he's like, 50?
What's the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. I was like, man, he came in rolling with this one.
Hey, that's what the Empire does, though, man.
Yeah, that's true. The Empire cannot win, but in this scenario, it was kind of a fun ending. It was a happy ending, I think.
Right. Oh yeah.
But it's funny moments. It's fun to put yourself in the Star Wars universe. So maybe we'll see those outfits again soon or something.
You might. And also you might see some other familiar faces showing up and maybe some new faces coming up here in Stay on Target. Just doing a little bit of tease work here right now. And we're looking forward to that, having different discussions with different people and friends here. So stay tuned. We got a lot coming. Don't worry, members. We're going to get to you guys too as soon as possible when we can for more member streams. Thank you guys so much for watching the watch alongs with us for members only. If you're not a member, we encourage you to become one though as well. This is the last plug here. It's $1.99. So less than a candy bar a month. And you get some fun stuff. You get some awesome emojis. KG's putting them up there right now. Get some.
I wish I could show them on the thing, but
yeah,
this is all it shows us in my.
I don't know why it does it. Well, I mean, I
They need to update it.
Yeah, they do.
Shows the hearts.
It does show the hearts. That's good. Well, at least we've always got the heart here on Stay on Target.
That's right.
Yeah, we do.
And the last, I forgot, we need to do that scene where joining the Stay on Target circle in that wedding sequence.
Yes.
That was so funny. We're going to have to do that. So join the Stay on Target circle and become a member.
Yes.
That is the
join
perfect
my
number.
circle.
Yeah, we love and appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here and watching along with us. And yeah, we got to get the gonk on out of here. So anything else, guys, before we go? Last thoughts, last comments?
No, what a great, it's all the hype your money can buy, but it's worth the wait. It has been worth the wait.
It has been worth the wait.
I'm so glad that we're not counting down the days anymore, other than the 6 days in between.
Right.
But there's so much to chew on. We'll probably watch it again. I'm going to be making some videos and we'll do some stuff. And I'm so happy that other people are making Star Wars videos again that they're happy about.
Yes.
You know, content. It's fun to watch people that are excited. And the ones that aren't excited, that's fine. I don't have anything against it. But it's fun to watch people making creative content with Star Wars in the forefront and calling out the secret things behind the scenes in the shop and all the nuggets that we miss because there's so much happening on this shot at once. It's like
the breakdown people are going crazy right now. You know they haven't slept.
No.
Like they are still working on it. I can guarantee you at this moment.
The only way they could get a video out of that is if they had gotten the whole 12 episodes like a month ago.
Yeah, in like a month
Those slackers. That's how they do this stuff. They're
Yeah.
not staying up all night. They got teams of 4,000 workers.
Whoa, we don't need to call out the other YouTuber. They're doing a great job for what they get. I know.
I'm going to call them out.
Okay, you can if you want.
No, you said you feel bad for them, and I don't because they have teams of thousands of workers.
No, I don't necessarily feel bad. I just mean like they are working overtime to try to get this stuff out. As long as they're getting it at the same time we are. I feel for those people. So
yes, same here.
But anyway, so much good stuff. And yeah, we've been trying to cover the Star Wars Celebration news too. So we'll be trying to cover more as we go. Sorry we didn't cover anything tonight, but Andor was such a fun, big topic. We had to cover it. So thank you guys for being here. I need to stop talking. We need to get out of here. We appreciate you guys. Can't wait to see you next time. But don't forget to always stay on target.
See ya.
See you guys. Join the Stay on Target circle as we travel through the galaxy to find the best Star Wars we can find.